Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see all of you here. Oops, there we go. How you doing? How the heck you doing? Happy Sunday to you guys. Oh, it is a beautiful, kind of cloudy, kind of dark, kind of Halloweeny kind of a day here in Ontario, Canada. I'm super excited to get the Halloween season kicked off. Getting the T virus was a pretty good start. Am I right over here? That was a good start to the Halloween. Nice job, Capcom. Really appreciate that. I'm a big fan of your work, but I mean that's a little crazy. That's a little crazy. Well, look who's here. We got Woot Woot. Haven't heard that in a while. Matt Tracker is here. JT is here. His favorite time of the week, I believe, in terms of my streams. Good to see you, buddy. And I put a poll up here, and look at this sour grapes here. I put a poll up, and I said, choose your massive multiplayer online RPG with City of Heroes, Matrix Online, Final Fantasy 11, and Phantasy Star Zero. And Matt says, what about none of the above? Jeez, man. Well, I would pick Phantasy Star, so there you go. Bat Stan, good to see you. EGM. Yes, we are going to read some EGM. That's what we're gonna do. Look at all these little Timmy Low. What's up, Timmy? How you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. We have a Den of Geek in the chat. Good to see him as well. Skyfall, happy Sunday, and Ghetto. Are you guys ready to get into this? We are diving into EGM 29, which I believe is November 91. I think. I don't know. When it's in front of me, I'll remember. With The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past on the cover. This is exciting. Now, as JT and I found out last week, these are pretty thick. So these streams are going to go a little bit longer. So feel free to hang out as long as you want. But we will be taking a break towards the middle point just to get drinks and all that kind of thing. So fear not. Speaking moistly, what's up, gents? Sorry, I choked on my own virus there. Halloween is a must. Really? What? It's Halloween. I must have really slept in. Oh, well, we're getting there. It's a season now, dude. It's like Christmas. You know that. You know that. So Halloween starts what? Now it's like Labor Day. I think after Labor Day, that's when all the Halloween decorations around here, at least, started showing up. I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing? Very good to see you again. Okay, let's bring in our special guest, our channel member and good pal, and fellow YouTube streamer, the Den of Geek. Let's bring in Den. What's up, buddy?
Hey, not too much.
I
don't know about where you live, but for a lot of people around my area, Halloween is kind of an all-around year thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people that are fans of Halloween, but they like horror movies and stuff, but they don't necessarily celebrate it every single day. But if they do around where you are on the West Coast, that's pretty cool, man. I think Halloween is a really cool holiday, so I'm all for that.
Yeah, one guy has a Darth Vader in his front yard with Halloween decorations,
and nobody's vandalized it. I'm shocked.
Yeah,
I'm shocked. We got a dude across the street, and he does like Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers, like mannequins and stuff like that. So
awesome.
Yeah, Timmy, if you mean by never take down your decorations, I mean, I was just gonna say, there's a lot of people around here too that love to put them up, like Christmas and stuff like that, put them up super early. But then when it's time to take them down, they're still up in like February and March because taking them down sucks.
We have a few people that have had their Christmas lights up for over a decade around here.
Oh my God. Well, you know what?
I think the philosophy there is just, look, I put them up once, I'm not taking them down and putting them up again.
Maybe they're the smart ones, right, with doing that. That way you don't have to do that awful task of putting up lights every single year. I don't know. Nico Tronus, what is going on? Good morning, Jay and Dan and chat.
Morning, Nico Tronus.
Mo, it's too early, and yet you are here. You are here, my friend. Good to see you. Okay.
I can relate, but I've got enough refined sugar in my bloodstream to keep me conscious.
Well, dude, you're at the friggin' bar. at like 7 in the morning. So what are you talking about? You're not drinking coffee. You're drinking blue milk juice or whatever the hell they're drinking over there.
Yeah.
All right, look at this. First of all, I know we've seen the thumbnail, but look at this cover.
Oh, so beautiful.
Okay. Is that not the Dragon's Lair castle?
It looks like it.
I just noticed that right now. Can anybody confirm or deny that? Even the way it's slanted in the trees, that's a Don Bluth painting. Is there Dragon's Lair in this, maybe?
I don't know.
We don't know. But that is one of the coolest covers. I do have this. I know I was saying to you backstage, Dan, I don't have this one. I do. It's just I literally my game magazines are 4 or 5 totes.
Oh yeah.
The only one that I have access to because they're buried in the basement is the one, and I quickly looked today. I was going to bring it out if I had it, but it wasn't in that tote. So there you go.
That's Beauty like cover. A lot of my strategy guides. They're buried in totes.
Dude, I found in that tote this morning, I found my Super Mario RPG strat guide.
Ooh.
Like OG style. I was like, whoa, I forgot I had this.
Oh, wow.
Beauty cover. Timmy says, I miss these masterpieces. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
The background definitely doesn't look like it came from Zelda. Yeah, that's Dragon's Lair. Yeah. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a $5 super chat from Skyfall. All right, buddy. Let's get her going. Appreciate that very much, Jay. I spoke about you surviving the T virus to some friends. A company called Umbrella contacted me and gave me. That's funny. That's funny because a company called Umbrella contacted me and said, here's a mystery envelope. Open it up close to your face. I was like, what? Okay. The next thing you know, it's itchy tasty. And I'm like, I didn't know who I am for 3 weeks. It's going to be a blast going through this, buddy. And thanks very much for taking the time to hang out with me.
Oh, always happy to, man.
I used to have a co-host who would he would host this. Me and him we go way back like 20 some odd years, and then he went to Hawaii. This guy, this Will guy goes to Hawaii, and no one's seen or heard from him in like 3 or 4 weeks. I don't ever know if he's going to be coming back, but maybe one day Will grace us with his presence. We got some game hunting to do.
Yeah. Got to find some of those rare things.
That's just the way it goes. Yeah. Claude, what's up from Facebook land? Good to see you. Akron, Ohio. Good morning. Well, good morning from Ontario. Cheers to everybody in the chat.
And from British Columbia.
There you go. Get some BC. You're in Packers territory. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm about 4 hours away from Packers.
I thought that said ex-girlfriend Will something. No, I'm just super jealous of him getting to spend an extended period of time in Hawaii. It was weird too. It was like he's like, I'm on my way to Hawaii. Okay, I'll see you in 3 weeks or whatever. I got you a little something. He's like, and he handed me another envelope with this umbrella on it. And he's like, don't open this until I'm on the plane. I'm like, okay. So I got 2 of these umbrella envelopes. I open it. Next thing you know, 2 days later, I'm out.
You got that T-virus fog going.
Absolutely. Let's crack open this bad boy here. Where are we? We are right here. So we are in EGM number 29 from December 1991. So this is going to be a big, thick Christmas issue here, and I can't wait to get into that. Hang on a second. Just give me 1 second here.
All right, not a problem.
Getting a knock on the door. I don't like it when I get knocks on the doors. Let's see who's there. Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I'm back, baby.
It's you. And you don't have any lights on.
Listen, it was a bootleg quick setup, okay? I'm running on Hawaii time.
Oh, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. I don't want to start hearing that it's Hawaii talk crap from you, mister. Everything we're going to say, Ninja Gaiden 3. Oh, well, yeah, they had that in Hawaii for like $5. What's up, buddy?
$5? I wish it was $5.
Welcome back, WillLo.
Hey, Will.
Hi, friends.
Good to see you.
And for those that have seen the pictures of his hotel room, it was nicer than most of the homes in my city.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
Good to have you back. How was your vacation?
It was good. A lot of fun. Expensive,
all right.
but fun.
All right.
It's okay. It was okay. It was okay. I got video games. That's the important part.
That's cool. I'm sure you have them beside you. Not the ones from our videos, but the
Well, if you would
separate.
make those videos already, then I could show those ones. God.
I
He's still
appreciate
dealing
you.
with the
Listen,
T-Rex.
the best thing you did, Will, and I wasn't gonna say this, but I feel like I gotta call it out. Now, the best thing that Will did for me is when I said, buddy, you know, can Lisa and I be in the same room together with COVID or whatever? And the best thing Will did was not answer me back. That was my favorite part. That was my favorite part. So shout out to Packers again. Will's trying to kill me. It's official. All right, we're
I
getting
thought I did respond to you.
You did not. You sent me like a Nintendo meme as a response. Like, buddy, you're in the field. Are we good?
I don't know. I may have been inebriated. I don't know.
No, this is when you say I'm on Hawaii time, man.
Nope.
Anyway,
Well, doesn't our
Canadian
generation kind of speak generally like in memes?
I know, but I'm like, dude, are we allowed to be in the same room? Are we gonna keep passing it back and forth forever?
Yeah.
No answer. None whatsoever. That's okay. We're good. We're good.
No one
Josh,
cares.
what's up, buddy? Oh, okay. Josh wants to hear because he's a huge Bond fan. He wants to hear about the Pierce Brosnan sighting. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, we ran into Pierce Brosnan at a store. It was a clothing store, and Pierce was kind of upset because he said the store had changed. And not that it was used to be, because apparently there was a shop he used to frequent a lot when he came to Hawaii, but it changed ownership about 6 months ago. And then he was actually at our hotel, and he was with his wife at the hotel. And I was like, I'm not going to go up to him, but one of Ashley's cousins did, and it was like, hey man, can I get a photo? And Pierce was very polite about it, but he says, I'm with my wife, and we'd rather not right now. And
Wow, really?
yeah. Apparently,
Wow.
that's a very touchy thing with his wife.
Wow. Do you know what, dude? Because when you put that in the Discord, I was streaming and we started to talk about celebrities and like, if they were in public like that, would you go up to them?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like, I was like, you got to read the room. You got to be very careful, especially when they're not at a con or something where they're not supposed to meet people. So
Yeah,
that's interesting.
They got their personal space, right? But yeah, apparently his wife is someone you wouldn't expect someone like him to be with, I guess you would say. And he's very doesn't want her involved with a lot of that stuff, because I guess the tabloids gave a lot of really bad press about it and was razzing on him about it.
I do remember something.
So anytime he's with his wife, apparently he's very nah, I'm good. I just want to spend time with my family. And then you got to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because she's not some 10 out of 10 blonde model or something.
Yeah, she's not how everybody's celebrities are oh, they're always with models and amazingly people. She's just an average person. Well, I wouldn't say average. She's still attractive, but
yeah, but you got to respect that.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. He's not there to do signings or anything.
No.
His wife has had hard times with Olympics. Really? I didn't know anything about this. That's interesting.
Yeah, the British tabloids are a bit.
Well, listen, I know that the tabloids in general, guys, and we're going to get to the magazine, don't worry, but they expect, and I'll talk about a little bit of rock and roll a little bit, like someone like Vince Neil from Motley Crue. They expect him to look like he's still 21 with a shredded six-pack and all this stuff. And these journalists, I use the term loosely, are so brutal on people who are aging, especially Gen Xers and stuff now. It's just calm down, we're not 21 anymore. I'm sure Vince has better things to do than work out just to keep that body,
Yeah.
So
he has other things in life to do.
Yeah. Jacques, what's up, buddy? Coming from P90 stream. He looked like he was kicking butt in Ninja Gaiden. That's awesome.
Yeah, I popped in there for a few minutes this morning.
Okay, here we go. December, Christmas time, 1991. Do you guys remember Christmas 1991?
I barely remember Christmas 2021.
I actually do.
You do. That's awesome.
I do.
I remember a bunch of Christmases with games and toys, but I don't really remember which year, which is unusual for me. I'm usually really good with the years, but look at this issue. Wow, we have our first Street Fighter 2 picture, Master the Amazing Moves of Street Fighter 2, the arcade, with EGM's first arcade mega strategy guide. Will, you picked a good issue to come back to. That's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah.
We have pigskin picks, so we have football. No one gives the lips except Packers.
No, I follow a bit, but
Oh, there you go. There you go.
that's only because I'm in a fantasy league with some friends.
Nice. Okay, we're moving on. Prince of Thieves still taunting Will. And we can all look forward to the halfway point of the show, guys. Again, the show's been running about 3 hours now because the EGMs are really getting thick here. So we will take a break, but Will can show us some of the stuff that he picked up. You got some stuff in what, Jersey, didn't you? In New York?
Yeah. Actually, I did a lot of retro shopping. Sorry, Jay.
You videotape any of it?
Nah.
Because, of course, that would be handy for you to make a really cool retro hunting video.
That's okay. You know what, man? It's totally fine.
I've been doing a bit of retro hunting myself. Not so much in person, because around here it kind of crap. But
which sucks for you. I feel bad.
Yeah, like the nearest retro game store is about a 4-hour drive.
Dang.
Yeah, wow, that's dude. And you know what?
By Packers.
Will and I were talking about how lucky we are in terms of how many toy and video game stores we have along the belt of where we live, going across Ontario. Dude, like, we could almost go in any direction. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying we're lucky, right? We could almost go in any direction and hit like 2 or 3 stores.
Well, like 70% of the Canadian population lives about where you live.
That's true.
That is true. But you got the cool Return of the Jedi scenery. So there you go. There's the payoff.
Yeah. And I've been looking at some SNES stuff and some Genesis, and I ordered a few things. Yeah,
you won that Super Nintendo, man. That's That's so awesome.
And it was handy.
Does it work? It's from our sponsors at Game Cycle. So
it does work. It does work.
Meticulous about testing and cleaning it. So that's why I left it in their shrink wrap. There's no point in me taking it out, right? They bundled it nice. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and my old one had literally died a bit. So I'm going to be repairing that one and probably handing that one off to one of my friends that does a lot of retro gaming, but doesn't have an SNES.
Welcome back, Will. This is the EGM difference. And since you abandoned us for 3 weeks, you can start off because you are Ed. And I got to say, we had some great fill-ins. Some chose to do Ed for the reviews and some chose not to. So Ed's been MIA as well a little bit. So you can start off there, buddy.
Gonna be rusty at this. I haven't read anything in a while.
Oh,
heck's reading.
Enough. I'm on Hawaiian time.
I didn't say that. I said it the first time.
It's on the ceiling. Anyway, go ahead.
As I sit back on Halloween night to assemble my monthly collection of gaming thoughts, I can't help but look back and where we've been in the last year. Being the last issue of 1991, I've convinced myself that there will be no better place to catalog the achievements that the video game hobby has made in the past 12 months. By the same token, I've also decided to share some of my personal observations related to where the industry seems to be heading in 1992.
Good year, by the way.
First and foremost, 1991 saw the real explosion of 16-bit interest. There we go. Spurred on largely by Nintendo and the long-awaited release of their Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Coinciding with this unveiling, Sega promptly dropped their price below the $150 mark, while NEC chopped the price of the Turbo down to half of what it was when originally introduced.
It's never good. Never good.
Am I doing the whole thing?
No, well, I'll continue here. Then we'll get Den to read the... Den, if you want us to call you by your name, you could say so. If not, I call everyone by their screen names.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. The appearance of 16 bidders on the scene, combined with a general lack of initiative by most 8-bit licensees, delivered the first nail in the coffin of the NES. Look, Ed. Look, Ed. By the way, guys, I got a special treat next week because I found some like behind the scenes EGM gold that we're gonna go through. We might even do it during the week. Anyway, listen, the NES has been out in North America here for quite a while. So 6-7 years, I feel like is pretty good. So I don't like this like, oh, it's like dying. It's time for it to move on. Although there are still 30 million units in play, you can't help but to wonder how many of the tried and true Nintendo users who had the cash and the broad interest in gaming to support the more obscure titles haven't already moved up to the 16-bit systems. Thank you. And that's why you got stuff like DuckTales 2 worth $1 billion, Little Samson, Rescue Rangers 2, because this is the exact time when those came out. And you got guys like Ed saying, don't play those. Play the 16-bit stuff. I can't even read anymore. Sorry. Sure, the NES still has plenty of life in it, but witness the actions of Nintendo themselves releasing one game for the holiday season, and you reinforce the idea that a handful of softs, hot or not, will continue to power the vast majority of the systems. Last year also saw handheld gaming peak with the delivery of the Sega Game Gear, now sharing shelf space with the likes of the Nintendo Game Boy and the Atari Lynx. The variety of games and hardware configurations open to the player have never been greater. We also got to meet some revolutionary game characters in 1991. Who? Sonic? Sorry. Although we had all met Mario before, his latest adventure in 16-bit provided a variety of all new thrills. And don't forget Sonic the Hedgehog. His wayward manner and ultra crisp graphics gave Sega the recognition that the company and the hardware has deserved for so long. We're going to tag in our very special guest, the Den of Geek, to finish off Ed Simrad's editorial. Take it away.
Right. Where are we going in 1992 and beyond? CD games seem the natural progression, but not without some hitches. It's difficult for game companies to put the $500,000 commitment behind a top quality CD-ROM or CDI production, as opposed to the $100,000 to $150,000 for the average cartridge game, when the potential market is 1/100th the size the base of cart games. Price is also a factor, since most CD game players now range $300 and up. No matter what the new innovations are, or what the hot new character for 1992 may be, you can rest assured that EGM will be there, covering it first with a staff of avid game players like you. We have the ability to spot the trends and how hot new games of tomorrow today. That's the EGM difference.
Thanks, Den. And yeah, Matt, I was just going to highlight that.
Yeah, 500K.
Well, I read, like, what am I reading here? 100 to 200 to 150,000 for the average cartridge game. That's the average game. Okay. 100 to 150,000. We know now factually that Concord was $400 million.
Yeah.
Which is pretty close to a record, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was like 300,000. Sorry, 300 million, I should say. Yeah. That is crazy. Will, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's definitely like exploded compared to now, right? But I want to know like what from 1991, like what things were kind of like, like the value of the currency comparative. You know how they do that sometimes? Like back then it was so much like this.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering like how much is $500,000 comparative in 1991 to like now?
Yeah, Jacques, that's to make a game average in 1991 would be 100,000, 150,000. And you look at stuff, Josh says, yeah, inflation for sure. But you look at stuff like Concord's 400, I can't even say that number. Excuse me, 400 million. Spider-Man 300 million. God knows what Outlaws was, probably up there too. Like, and then these companies can't turn a sustainable profit, and nobody wants these games. I mean, something's got to change here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually just looked it up on the inflation calculator. 500,000 of August 1991 results to 1.155 million in 2024.
Which is still not a lot.
1.5 million, right? That's what we said.
1.1 million.
Yeah, but not 100 million. It's just 1 million, right? Okay,
yeah, 1.1 million.
I agree with Will. That's not bad.
No, that compared to what I was expecting, no, not at all.
What's up, Cutthroat? Good to see you.
Hey, Cutthroat.
Someone else popped in
Hey,
here.
Cutthroat.
Raj. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, we just rolled over 18,000 subs as of yesterday morning.
Let's go.
So thank you for that, buddy. Appreciate. That was a great editorial. That was really good.
Yeah. Also shows just how the cost of games were changing.
Well, yeah, getting bigger with CD-ROM. The CD-ROM era is coming up very soon. What the hell is Crazy Land?
Crazy Land?
Official Nintendo license. Okay, one of you guys want to look that up? Did Crazy Land come out? This has got to be unlicensed. Official seal of quality. NT Vic. Who's NT Vic?
It was licensed by Nintendo for play on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah, it's official.
Did it come out though? That's the question. I don't recognize this one anyway.
You tell us, NES boy.
Dude, that was 10 years ago. I can't remember what happened 10 days ago. 10 years ago. Okay.
It only came out as a prototype.
Yeah, okay. See, Will. God. Street Fighter 2 for the NES. Here we are, the letters to the editor. And this issue we're going to get into Street Fighter 2, the World Warrior for the arcade, which is really super exciting. Let's get into it. Street Fighter 2 for the SNES by Brad Laporte from Los Angeles, California. My favorite arcade game is Capcom's Street Fighter 2. From what I see, this is the hottest game in LA. Can you tell me if there are any plans to bring it to the home system and which system it will be? By the way, shout out to JT a couple weeks back. Tried to do your character, Will. He did a pretty good job.
This
guy, try to do that guy. It was pretty good.
That voice.
It's pretty good.
I missed it.
It's pretty
Go
good.
back and check it out. Was it last week?
Did we do one last week? No.
A week
Or that
before,
then?
I believe.
All right,
Yeah.
We'll check the VOD.
Yeah, there was a week that was really screwed up.
Yeah, that T-virus messed you up.
Okay, let's get Willie. You can read the next one. We'll keep going the Street Fighter one. We'll just switch each person.
You did the first one, so Robert McMillan from Denver, Colorado calls in. Your arcade coverage is starting to improve. You are reporting on coin ops monthly rather than whenever there is a show. Great job. As nobody devotes enough space to the arcade games, what is this official coverage that you claim to have in your November issue?
Robert's holding them accountable for their actions. All right, Dan, you're up.
All right, from Sheldon Kohara in where Will was just Honoke, Hawaii.
Look at that. It's all coming together, baby.
Sushi X talked about Street Fighter 2 coming to the Super Nintendo a couple of issues ago. Is this true? And when will it come out? Will there be a Street Fighter 3?
Sheldon, listen, buddy. Listen. Take it easy. Take it easy, man. You don't want Capcom to throw one of these out every single year. Just take it easy. Take it easy.
Enjoy a few years break between the two. Trust us.
I can see the future, Sheldon, and I can tell you there will be a Street Fighter 3, spoilers, but I've seen it. Hey, I've got a great idea. Your video game coverage is great, as I like all the pictures you show. How about doing that for some of the hot arcade titles? How about a special section on Street Fighter 2 which shows all of the special moves for each character? Then put in tips and strategies for beating the game, says Brian Blabs from what's DE?
Delaware.
Delaware. Okay.
Yes. To quote Wayne's World, we're in
Oh,
Delaware.
yeah. Okay. So Ed responds with Street Fighter 2 is coming to the Super Nintendo next summer. And we can confirm this because we've seen the future. Well, guys, there's good news all around. Capcom has confirmed that they are working on Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo. While a specific release date isn't set yet, June 92 has been mentioned. I think that's when it did come out. It will be a 2-player game, and depending on cost, there might be a special 6-button controller released for this super soft. There will be a Street Fighter 3, but not for a while. The next martial arts game, at least for the Japanese market, coming from Capcom is Captain Commando.
Don't remember that one.
Captain Commando is a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
It's not a fighting game. Yeah, he's in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
He makes an appearance. Terry Akai in Japan tells us that Capcom is working on new 32-bit arcade hardware, and Street Fighter 3 may be the first game for that system. Also, make sure you check out our new arcade section. We are working very close with the AAMA, and you will be seeing some very intense arcade files in the next coming months. We have upgraded our computer systems again, and we can now make maps and strategy guides for arcade games. I don't know why that was funny. Just like we do with our regular video games. What better game to start off than Street Fighter 2? We have 8 pages of all the moves and strategies to this awesome game. Thank you, Ed.
Let's heck and go.
Nice.
Well, since there are 3 of us, whichever of you wants to talk about the Sega CD, feel free.
All right. I will do it. Here. Mega CD update. I like the way that you have, this is from Paul Daniels in Tampa, Florida. I like the way you have monthly updates on Sega's Mega CD, just as you did when the Super NES, Famicom, was being introduced. What is the latest info on this Hawt system? My biggest concern is if the Japanese unit will be the same as the US system. I want to buy one in December, but not if the US one is different. This letter I'm enclosing comes from Sega and specifically states that the Genesis is not compatible with the Mega CD. Can you check into this and tell all your readers what you did find out? As you can guess, this is a major issue to a lot of your readers. John Andanov in Shorewood, Wisconsin.
So you got 2 letters there. You got one from Paul and then one from John. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to read that, or Will, do you want to read the Ed's part?
I'll read the Ed part. Fine.
Right.
Do you see that picture though of the Sega CD? Isn't that the wonky one we always talk about?
Well, that's the.
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm about. I'm not going to say, but that's the one.
Don't give away the secrets.
That's it. Yeah, it looks better without the Genesis on top of it. I'll say that. But,
yeah. With the Genesis on top, I didn't recognize it. It looks funny, and it's really dark.
Yeah,
it's a dark pic. Yeah,
I guess the photographer forgot the flash.
Yeah, old bootleg 1991 technology. God.
Yeah. Let's put a black console on top of the black CD.
Yeah, fancy. Work continues on the tweaking of the software that will be built in the Mega CD. For a detailed update of this super peripheral, be sure to check out our exclusive look at what is happening inside the top secret R&D labs of Sega of Japan. This is our behind-the-scenes interview starting on page 115. As to whether the Japanese and US Mega CD-ROM units will be the same, officials at Sega will not confirm or deny any system compatibility. We believe that electronically the systems will be the same, but since the US unit doesn't exist yet in final form, there is no way to be 100% positive. Of course, Sega of America will not admit that both CD-ROM units are the same because as soon as they do, players will buy the Japanese units, and this is money that Sega of America will never see. If you really can't wait for the US system, at least get a guarantee that if the systems are different, you can trade it in for a US unit from the store you bought it from. Also, remember that the CD unit is mechanical and it sooner or later will need repair. Who will fix it?
Yep.
Not Sega of America. As for new games, Sega's first title, not Sim Earth, will be Woodstock Funky Horror Band.
What?
What?
Never heard of it.
Nope.
It's another RPG heavy in Japanese text. Ernest Evans still looks like the best CD to buy when the system comes out in December. What are these bootleg game names? Woodstock, Funky Horror Band, and Ernest Evans. Those sound like hot softs to me.
Oh yeah.
Well, those would be Japanese games we never got because ours was bundled with Sewer Shark, I believe, the first one.
Yeah.
Maybe these ones were better.
The digital picture stuff, yeah. I mean, Cutthroat says WillLo radio voice is back. Party time, rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Willie should do Grand Theft Auto radio.
All right, Rockstar, if you're watching, hit me up.
You know they're watching. Obviously, they're watching.
Yeah, of course.
The 1992 awards. I wonder if you guys forgot something. Last year, your 1991 buyer's guide came out as your October issue. I just got the October 1991 issue, and there wasn't any mention of your yearly awards. Did you forget to do them? Or did you quit doing them because the companies gave you too much heat for the worst awards? I hope not, as you guys do the only honest awards around. By the way, if you did do them, who won the best game and the best system award, says DJ Flips from Houston, Texas. Who won the best game of 1991? Was it Nintendo's Super Mario Brothers 4 or Sega's other game? Not to worry, DJ. This year we did something different because there were so many new games this holiday season. We just didn't have the space in EGM, even at 250 plus pages, to slip in our buyer's guide. Instead, check the newsstands as the awards, fact files, and reviews are now in their own extra issue. This way, everything is expanded and covered in detail. That you would expect from EGM. As to who won the best game of the year and the best system of the year, they're either Nintendo or Sega products. Oh man!
Oh,
keep us guessing.
Gotta go out and buy that special issue now.
What's up, Pook Ninja? The first Sega CD pack in was Sherlock Holmes. 100%? 100% on that? I'm thinking that I remember that being a packet for the Turbo. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying the first one I remember is maybe you are right. Yeah. I just remember Sewer Shark and being like not a selling point as much as I love digital pictures. That was one of the worst ones. So that wasn't like a system seller for me. Also, Ernest Evans came out in North America on cart. There you go. Thank you for the info, my friend. Hey, Jack, good morning. Good to see you. Okay. Who's next? We got a bunch on the page still.
I'll take this next one because it looks like a hardware question. And
sure.
I do love my hardware. Okay, slow SNES. I'm curious to know why Nintendo decided to put a slow processor in its SNES. I would have thought that a lot less effort would have been needed had they based their system around the 8386 or the 68,000 series processor. I I recently purchased the system and the game UN Squadron. The slowdown in the sprites was terrible. How can they fix what they have? Doug Erickson from Chechelis, Washington.
Dougie.
Yeah, bringing a little heat to the SNES.
It is true, though, and before we get into Ed's response, it is true, and I always wondered that myself, because they murdered them in the sound department. They murdered them with color palette, but Genesis killed it in processing power, man.
Yeah.
For example, any EA sports game always was better on Genesis. Always.
Yeah. It had more fluid movement.
Yep. Puka Ninja, thank you very much. I appreciate that info. It says 100%. Model 2 of the Sega CD came packed with Sewer Shark. Awesome.
Yeah. And Ed, you're not the only one who's wondering what's going on. We're getting a lot of questions like yours questioning Nintendo's wisdom. Of course, they'll never admit there is a problem, and it may be something that game programmers will be able to work out once they become more familiar with the system. As food for thought, though, the system was designed in Japan, and the typical Japanese player likes the RPG, Dragon's Quest, Final Fantasy, etc. game the best. The arcade-type shooters, on the other hand, are way down on the popularity list. Could the player's preference have had any influence on the design to the machine? It's a valid question.
Well, what do you think about that? Do you think there's any truth there? So the Japanese RPG is the best selling genre in Japan. Do you think that had something to do with why the Super Nintendo processor is maybe not as powerful as the Genesis?
There's probably some correlation with that. Because, like, JRPGs were huge, right? So they are generally a lot slower paced, not needing to, like, do a lot of, like, flair and such. I can see some reasoning behind that. But even then, like, platformers were still very prevalent on there. And you could argue, especially with, like, how Sonic was about being, like, super fast and, like, colorful and vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
Those would still be, like, Mario's the mascot for the system. So that doesn't seem like it. Yeah. I don't know.
Like you'd be shooting yourself in the foot to make that kind of design. I'm not saying
but like
wrong, but it just seems I don't think so.
Yeah.
But that has been continuously, except for the GameCube, a trope of the Nintendo systems, right? They're always more underpowered than their competitors.
That is true.
There has to be a reason for it. Is it just they're just saving production costs that they know, like, I will argue with most people that Nintendo probably still has one of the best development teams out there to work with the hardware they're provided with to, like, pull out the best out of each console. And maybe that's kind of like what they rely on. Like, this is the hardware giving you, push it to the max, and we save money instead of going high end, right? Because, like, the Switch is very outdated, and I've heard some issues with the new Zelda, like frame rate issues, especially later on. And, like, that's not graphically amazing.
I'm wondering if they start development a little too early and they're restricted by the hardware that they started with.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll never know because we're not with Nintendo.
To skimp out on something like that doesn't make a lot of sense. But I agree with Will where they're first off, their games are what make them, regardless of what their hardware can do. The Wii was revolutionary, the Virtual Boy, Newground, all that stuff. That doesn't matter. As we saw with the list we did this week, the 30 worst consoles of all time, if you have no games, it doesn't matter what your system could do. It's just going to sit there, right?
Yeah.
And Nintendo's proven over and over again, like, their games are what sell, right? It's not the system. It's just people want to play Zelda, Mario, Metroid. You know,
Donkey Kong, they go to Nintendo for the library, not the hardware.
Yes, I would agree. Let's catch up on the chat here. I want to say hey to Mutron. Good to see you, buddy. Way up here. I'm a little behind.
Morning, Mutron.
Says, hey, Jay, Den, Willie, and chat. Good morning. Good to see you, brother. P90's here. How was Ninja Gaiden? Did you do a speed run? Good to see you, buddy.
Pete Oliva is here as well. Morning, Pete.
I was looking up on P90 doing that Ninja Gaiden stuff on their stream on YouTube.
Yeah,
Pretty interesting.
I was
He's
looking
good.
at it this morning too.
He's good at it, man. Pete, what's up? Good morning, y'all. Limitations breed creativity. I think that is one possible reason. I feel like it could be an ethos thing. Yeah, I would see that.
I would agree with that. Because I think we're running into an issue right now, especially like the biggest thing I noticed with is COD, right? Like Call of Duty.
Mm.
They're over relying on like hardware to like push the game and do more for them. That's why you're getting like these 300, 400 gig installs, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to condense it down, work it, and like, make it more efficient. They're just like bloating it up just because they can rely on that extra power.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, in the cartridge days, you didn't have a ton of memory either on board or in the system to work with. So you had to find creative ways around bottlenecks and limitations. So I think that's part of it.
That's true, but you could increase the memory size in the cart, but it would cost you, and you know that from like early games like Phantasy Star 2, which was $130 because it was 6 meg, right? Instead of the traditional 4.
And
so it was
Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy, stuff like that, because I remember they were about $30 or $40 more expensive than the others.
Matt says, rumor was back in the day the kits to make cartridge games were only given to developers a short time before the console release. So it took the devs time to learn what the hardware could do. I can see that too.
Yeah.
Dale says, when I was growing up, I was just playing side scrollers. I still do to this day. JT wants Willie and I to do a 30 hottest softs. We could certainly oblige, my friend. Good to see Willie back from his Magnum PI adventure.
Mm. I really hope you wore a Hawaiian shirt at least once, Will.
Yeah, I think you could call them Hawaiian shirts. Yeah.
And Dale mentions that the original Genesis came packaged with Altered Beast, which actually is one of my favorite games for the Genesis.
It's a good one. That was a great tech demo of what the Genesis could do.
Yeah.
The sprites overshadowed anything Nintendo or Turbo was doing. The characters were huge. It's not the greatest of games, but it was good to just be like, hey, here's an arcade at home, right? Compared to your little baby Nintendo kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, Willie, you're up.
I feel like I'm gonna read this one for Cutthroat.
NEC, yep.
NEC News. Maybe Cutthroat wrote this in.
Oh, he might have.
I'm a proud owner of the TurboGrafx 16, and over the past 6 months, I have noticed that there's been a lot of talk about all the other systems upgrading their products. Sega has their Mega CD, and Nintendo has their Super NES. Why isn't NEC doing anything to improve their system? While I'm happy with what it can do, I am concerned that the Turbo may be left in the dust next year. Spoilers, it does.
Oh no.
Is there anything new happening with the Turbo? That comes in from Tim Bassinger from Boise, Indiana?
Idaho?
I think that's Idaho.
Yeah.
Boise, Idaho, yeah.
Boise, Idaho. There you go.
Listen, it was an I. I took a guess.
You had like a 1 in 3 shot.
Yeah. There was an I and a D. Indiana, Idaho. See, it's kind of this. You know what? That's on them for making it confusing.
Yeah.
Fix it, America. No, I'm just kidding. We have to admit that NEC of America has been rather quiet about the future, while Japan seems to be getting all the new products. Word has leaked out through the next year. Word has leaked out, though, that next year they will bring out the Super System Card version 3.0 to upgrade the memory of their CD-ROM drive. Perhaps more importantly, though, is the fact that NEC of Japan is making NID, their interactive CD with data compression, a reality. A working prototype was shown at the International Electronics Show in Tokyo. Expect US NEC to start talking about this at the January Consumer Electronics Show.
And there's that super card there for the turbo. I
Yeah.
don't think this thing ever came out. I don't remember that thing.
I
don't know.
remember seeing pictures of it. I don't remember ever seeing it.
Jacques says they probably thought if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. Moist, I know.
Moist.
Josh says panic in the turbo conference room. Yeah, we're done.
We're done for.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they were. I mean, to take the last bit of money, not to give a history lesson, to take the last bit of money that they had before NEC left and to redesign the turbo graphics into the Turbo Duo, which was making the booster, the card, and the CD-ROM into one system, was the worst decision they could have made instead of outsourcing third-party games and taking some of that weight off Hudson, who developed almost everything. They decided to redesign the system, which was the reason, one of the contributing factors as to why the Turbo failed originally, because it took a year to get here from Japan. Okay, no one cares. What's up, Christoph?
Hey, Christoph.
See ya.
Now,
okay, what's the last one we have? Yeah, I want someone to do Mondu's Fighting Palace. I can do it.
okay,
if you want.
I can do it.
Sure.
And I'll bring up something afterwards. Mondu's Slaughter Sport. A couple of months ago, I heard Mondu's Fight Palace by Activision was put on hold. Last month, I saw an ad for Slaughter Sport by Razorsoft. This game sure looks like the old Mondu game, is it? Mark Dormitorio, Carson, California. And as you can see by the picture, Slaughter Sport does have some things in common with the old tongue of the Fat Man slash Mondu's Fight Palace from Activision. Razorsoft did go back in and make changes which affected the length of the game, number of moves, and spells, though.
Yeah, so when this game got shown originally, it was called Tongue of the Fat Man.
Yeah.
Changed the title for whatever reason to Mondu's Fighting Palace. It's horrible, but it's just interesting to talk about these games that may or may not have been released.
Yeah. And contest, Hudson Hawk contest.
Oh, there's your Hudson Hawk winners. Oh, there's our buddy Thor. All right. Love seeing people I know in the magazine from the 90s.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So how many of you remember playing Hudson Hawk?
Nobody does. I don't even remember the movie.
I remember.
I'm trying to remember it now. That was the Bruce Willis one, right?
Yeah, the one where they sing the Frank Sinatra song to get the timing down.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's well, like Josh said, it is not a great movie.
Chet says, I love the turbo graphics, but it was confusing with all the peripherals and expensive.
Yeah. As Sega later learned.
To stick up for them a bit, they were trying to obviously blend in with Western designs, which you wanted your stuff to be black and you wanted it to look like stereo equipment, so it would go in your cool entertainment unit, right? That was the big mistake they made, because the PC Engine was a small white box that looked like a toy. Far cooler looking, I think, but they wanted to redesign it because they didn't think the Western audience would dig it. There you go. Anyone want to call the hotline? Now's your chance. Feel free.
Calling in about them hot softs.
Yeah.
Atomic Punk.
My experience with Game Boy is very limited because I didn't have one growing up. But it's another Hudson soft.
Oh, snap. Look at this. Look at this guy returns from Hawaii and his favorite game.
Let's go.
The very first one reviewed. So we got to bring Lucas in here for that.
The Power Glove. It's so bad.
I mean, that's just freaking killer. Look at that, Will. Look at that. Since we have our special guest channel member, Den of Geek, Den, you can choose if you'd like to read as Martin or Sushi X.
Well, I've already read about Sushi X, so I'll stick with Sushi X.
What's wrong with that Martin guy? Give him this a 7.
before we get into the reviews, we will read on the left what our guys have been doing the past month. So Steve, the big guy, is getting ready to book the flight and be the first in line to scoop up the new Mega CD-ROM in Japan. We will let the rest of the will he let the rest of the crew play? No way. We also remember Steve was selfish with the Super Famicom too, and he locked himself in the office. There you go.
Ed, with all the new Super Fammy games coming out, our head Ed just doesn't know what to do. Having already scooped out the Mega CD-ROM, we think he's getting an ego.
No, not Ed.
Not Ed.
No,
Ed
never Ed.
right.
No way.
All right. Sushi is in seventh heaven now that EGM has expanded its coverage of the arcade games. Check out his in-depth 2-part story on the mega hot soft Street Fighter 2.
Oh my god, it just said mega hot Street Fighter 2.
I had to add the soft in there.
Here we go. Arguably, if you're our generation, one of the greatest role-playing games ever created. Talking about the North American one, I'm not talking about the Japanese ones, but this one improved on the first game in just 10,000 different ways. And the story is memorable to this day. We're talking about Final Fantasy II by Square.
Final Fantasy IV in Japan. Just to clarify.
Steve gives it an 8. Final Fantasy II can best be described in one word: epic. It's a well-known fact that I'm not into RPGs, but this card has something for everybody. You get incredible animations, sizzling sound and music, and the game that is so involved, so intense, it has to be experienced. All right. You know what? We don't ever give our scores to these games, Will. Maybe we should do that on games that we've played. We should just throw out our not a review, just a number there. You know, we should do that after.
I feel like that's going to take some organizing.
No, I could just say Final Fantasy II. I would give it a 10. Done.
Yeah.
I would give it a perfect score.
You personally? Really? I didn't
Oh
think you
god, yeah. This game it's god tier, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's so good. Let's see. Ed, Square has just redefined what the ultimate RPG should be like. With spectacular Mode 7 effects, outstanding graphics, and a quest unequaled in a video game. The latest in the FF series really makes use of all the Super NES has to offer. Easily the best made to date.
All right.
9 from Ed. And I have to agree, this is my favorite Final Fantasy. It could be because of like nostalgia. Like this is like the first RPG I really finished growing up. But like I love the characters. I love the storyline. Like spoilers, you freaking go to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
With this game, we're going to get to Den in one sec here. I just want to interject and say with this game, this was one we've only put out. WillLo and I have only put out 2 game hunting videos. There are three more coming, but the first one that we did, Will was on the hunt for this game. And what I like to do when I'm editing is I like to put in gameplay. And as I was capturing gameplay for Final Fantasy II, I was going to get into it a bit with the battle. The first thing that happens is you have those airships with that theme song.
Yep.
And dude, the goosebumps I got, I'm like, I'm just leaving
so
it. I'm leaving it like that. And that's the footage I used.
Yeah, the Flight of the Red Wings, like right in the opening, and you're like, you go into the Cecil as the Dark Knight. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That intro is amazing.
Baby.
All right. This is a totally awesome RPG. The storyline is actually coherent, and the plot moves along with a combination of speaking sequences and battles. Sure, there's plenty of the old build-up, your abilities to move up a level, play. But within a framework like this, how can you go wrong? Tasty game.
Tasty game. There's a new
tasty game. Yeah. I'd have to give it a 10. Like, it's god tier.
Timmy says, yeah, so there's the great score and stuff, and then they slaughter the town. Yeah.
That's the thing though, like it gets so dark real quick, right?
Yeah.
Like usually when you start a game, you're like the hero, right? And the whole thing is that you're working for a baron who's like become corrupt, and you're second guessing your choices, and he
Yeah.
sends you off to like this little town, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, we just got to deliver this package," which ends up being a bomb that blows up the whole town,
Mhm.
murders somebody's mother, and then like you try to save the girl, and then they disappear, and you're like, "What the frick?"
It's so cool too, right? Because like ultimately, the only thing that we know as human beings, what is wrong and right, is that feeling we get inside. We all have that feeling when you do something or about to do something. That feeling is 100% truth. So, for was the main character again, Cecil? Is it Cecil?
Yep.
For him to be the Dark Knight and to slaughter these people, and he's like, this doesn't feel right killing these people. Like
Yeah.
to have that impact, to have that kind of a story in 1991 is just incredible, man. And it really brought storytelling to games to a whole other level beyond the get the sword, save the princess. It was, wow, this character has guilt. This character is dealing with grief and morality. It's just a wonderfully written game.
Yeah, especially so early in the game.
Right, exactly. We got the tasty game hunters.
And Matt, anyone surprised that they didn't mention the fact that it was FF4 in Japan? Absolutely not.
I didn't really
learn
give
that until later.
I didn't really
Yeah.
give much thought to that. What I did not like was not knowing about the ones that we missed, right? Like with the one with the
Yeah.
blue mage and all that. But
Yeah.
we learned about that later on when Will and I were working at EB, that's when we got all those Origin collections on PS1 that were great, and we saw those games for the first time. We're like, oh, okay. So this was, the real 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
What's up, Indo Nerd? Classic issue, Bartlett. You better believe it, buddy. You better believe it. Okay, well, that was a great start. So congrats to Final Fantasy 2. We're moving on to SimCity by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo. Steve gave it a 7. SimCity is an interesting game that takes a lot of planning and strategy to succeed at. Like Tetris, SimCity requires forethought and the constant realization that one wrong step can spell catastrophe down the line. Not really my cup of tea, but an interesting change of pace. 7, which I still think is a good score. I do.
Yeah. This is definitely a game that's not for everyone, right? And
Mm.
like kids wouldn't pick up on this game. This is a very adult game, I would assume.
And it just looks, even back then, to me, it looked messy. Like it doesn't look very appealing. It's a fun game when you get into it, but
It is a very steep learning curve, and you're like,
right.
Ed, though, hold on, I lost it. My one monitor is not working since I came back, so this is a little bit annoying.
Well, you were gone for 3 years, man. Stuff breaks down. Like, what do you want?
Yes, I don't know why. Everything was turned off. I wonder if there's a storm or something. I hope I don't have to buy a new monitor.
Matt wonders if this version of SimCity has the ability to call down kaiju to destroy the city.
It does.
It does.
It's Bowser.
It is. It's giant Bowser.
Yeah. No special effects here, as this game is pure cerebral. It's a simulation, and what it sets out to do, it does perfectly. Every aspect of urban planning is built in, and the interaction between physical and cultural phenomena is straight out of the textbook. Nothing has been overlooked. 9 from Ed. Wow, Ed really liked this. That's like the best review Ed has ever probably written.
This guy makes me laugh.
Final Fantasy 2.
But all the monitors worked in Hawaii, though, didn't they, Willie?
I don't think I saw a monitor in Hawaii.
Well, you know what? Sometimes that's good. That's good, right? You got to unplug for a while. But, Jacques said it was Skynet while you were gone.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happened? I'm glad I missed that.
Okay, so SimCity is sure to keep older game players and those who are into advanced puzzles like the Rubik's Cube entertained for hours. Personally, I'd just as soon have salt rubbed into my eyes. This game is slow and tedious, and you can't even nuke the city when you get bored. Jeez! Six.
Sushi. Oh my god.
Yeah, sushi.
Violent.
Damn. Why the anger? And I mean, for me, I'd say it's a solid 7 out of 10. I had it. I usually ended up just destroying cities for fun.
Sorry, Willie. While you were away, Jay nicked all the fuses out of your tech. You know what's funny is that, I mean, shortly after Will left, my monitor died. This one right here, and I had to go get another one too. So I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe Skynet's coming after us.
Maybe it doesn't like us reviewing all the old tech.
Perhaps not. The Blue Marlin, Willie. The Blue Marlin.
I was looking at this.
For the NES by Hawt. 7 from Steve. This game, like its predecessor, offers some of the most enjoyable fun you'll find on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Excuse me. The game's not filled with wild graphics or intense action, but it does provide one of the most realistic sports simulations you can find in a video game. A challenging and addictive game. 7. Still pretty
I
good.
do like fishing games, but I don't think I remember this one.
No, don't.
Maybe
don't.
one for the future list.
Dun, dun, dun. Ed gave it a 6. This is a decent fishing simulation game. This is a decent fishing simulation. Games have come a long way since the older games where all you had to do is drop a line into the water and you'll catch anything. This version requires skill, patience, and even a bit of luck if you want to catch the trophy-sized fish. 6. He seems more positive to give it a 6. I was figuring he would give it like a 7 reading that.
That review suggested it should be a 7. I think it should be a 7. But
yeah. To be fair, if I wanted that, I'd go fishing with my uncle. While Blue Marlin isn't going to win any awards for being the most overwhelming game, it does manage to dish up enough of a good time to make it stand out from a crowd of Me Too titles. Not for everyone, but Blue Marlin, like Black Bass, is addictive and fun.
cool. Yeah, and Jacques, I knew you'd like this. Jacques loves his fishing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool if you were into that. I myself have been fishing once. It wasn't for me, but there you go. I can certainly see why these games are popular. 100%. 100%. Moving on to Tom and Jerry for the NES by High Tech Expressions. That's a company that I don't recall that name. High Tech Expressions.
No.
But they managed to get the license to Tom and Jerry. 5. Ugh. 5's a borderline fail. So I was deeply disappointed by this game. With Tom and Jerry characters and their history of antics, you would think a variety of great play mechanics would be created around their familiar storyline. Unfortunately, you get another scroller with little originality in play. 5. Wow.
That's a shame. There's so much potential with Tom and Jerry, especially when you look at like the Rescue Rangers, like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. The game was fantastic.
And weird, right? Because for me, Willie, that was a great game. I didn't care what the characters were because I don't have any kind of love for Chip and Dale, but the game was so great because of Capcom's design. So it's like the reverse of this one, right?
Yeah.
Ed, though, seemed to like it.
Hipster.
This is a fun card to play. If you enjoyed the type of action found in Rescue Rangers, then Tom and Jerry is right for you, as this game combines the right blend of action and challenge. Good animations. I don't know why he abbreviated that, but I read it that way. He did. He puts like a little like hyphen in there.
Yeah.
Animations. Decent gameplay and lots of fun for players of all ages. 7.
Well, you know, one thing Capcom did nail in the Disney afternoon games is the music. I will say that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's Capcom, right?
Yeah. Sushi, however, was not so fond of this game. What fun could have been had by Tom and Jerry, instead of cool graphics and a variety of play techniques, This game offers up only a few original themes and incorporates them into gameplay that has been done over and over again. This one falls way short in my book for ranks of 4.
Yeah, it just seems like for me personally, Tom and Jerry's okay, but I mean, like, it's a little late in the NES life cycle to have this kind of game now. But yeah. Okay, Pirates. Ultra. What?
So is this? There is a Pirates game, but later there's a Sid Meier's Pirates that I really enjoyed on PC.
Yeah.
Is this like the predecessor? Like
no.
This is Konami, so weird.
Yeah.
4. Oof. Although Pirates is daring enough to try new things on the NES, the lack of action and the repetitive nature that's found in most of the gameplay just slows down what could have otherwise been an enjoyable diversion. It's not a very flattering thing to call your game. The whole package just comes apart in the end. 4. Wow, wow.
Wow, wow, wow. Ed seems like this. Ed's really just liking games lately. I don't think he really gave anything a super negative review yet. Yeah, no.
He's really, even the last couple of weeks, he's been like on the upturn. But he's got more responsibilities. I'm sure he got a raise.
Yeah.
That made him happy.
Yeah.
He's probably just happy to be playing games instead of doing the editor thing.
True. I can't get too excited about floating around out on the sea. The ship-to-ship battles are okay, but there just isn't enough action. It's a fair simulation, however, it moves too slow, and it was hard to keep my interest. For military battle fans only, too dry.
Yeah. All right.
What?
My friend's dad used to play Pirates on the NES quite a bit, actually.
I mean, like, again, like, that's just a very unflattering screenshot to whatever.
Yeah.
Like the map screen or whatever we're looking at, it just looks
boring.
It's not good. It's not helping its cause. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Sushi. I'll admit that Pirates is not the type of game that I get into. But giving it credit, the game does take some unique play mechanics and roll them together into a cohesive game. The action does get too repetitive, however. And overall, any real excitement is seldom found. 5 out of 10.
That's rough. Josh says I really enjoyed the Uncharted Waters games on NES. Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff for sure. P90, I missed the Final Fantasy II review. Such a great game that really marked my childhood. Yeah. I mean, I can say not so much Phantasy Star, but with Final Fantasy, if you played those games and didn't like them, you're probably not going to like any RPGs. Like if you didn't like Final Fantasy to some degree, the genre is probably not for you. Like it's the defining game. Kind of like Party Golf for the Game Gear. No. Mike Ditka, Power Football. Waiting at Packers. Come in here and read this one. Packers, where are you? This is by Ballistic. Ugh, boy. 5. Mike Ditka, I believe, was a coach, but he was no Madden.
He also played.
Oh, did he play? Okay.
He did at one point, yeah.
Although this is a fine job of rendering the football field as well as developing the actual plays, the thing they forgot to do was include the gameplay. The overall execution of the game tries to mirror the stunning qualities of Madden, but unfortunately comes up for a loss in every department. See, and I feel like this should get way below a 5 because a 5 is like mid-tier, right? It's like 50%. And if you have no gameplay in a video game, wouldn't you think that this would be failing? Steve, I don't agree with you on this one.
Frickin' Steve. Yeah, Ed didn't like it either. Mike Ditka ought to review the products they put his name on. His football game is not the best Genesis cart out there, but it does have a good variety of plays to choose from. The action just doesn't get as intense as the others, and it's at best only average.
Mhm. I think
Ditka was
that's
Ditka was thinking precisely of the paycheck that he was getting.
yep.
That's it.
They started seeing those video game dollar signs.
Yeah, it wasn't. I can't speak. I don't know enough about the history of this game, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't like Madden, where Trip Hawkins and Madden were like riding on a Go train together, coming up with like Madden was showing him actual plays.
Yeah.
I believe that's why Madden is still to this day the greatest football game, because there was that passion. I don't know if Mike Ditka was built that way. I don't know if Ballistic had the money to get Ditka to write plays. I have no idea. Either way,
Mm.
you're up, Dan.
Okay. Ooh, Sushi really didn't like this game. This game sure tries to look like another Genesis football game, but the gameplay is nowhere near the same league. Ditka football has some nice looks, but overall the game controls, plays, and interacts with such a painful level of inadequacy, I couldn't even finish a game. 4 out of 10.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to call Sushi the hater from now on. I don't think he's liked any game.
He's enjoyed Final Fantasy too.
That's like it. Everything else is
Yeah.
like, yeah.
We don't read Sushi much, so I don't actually look at his scores very often.
I do, and Jay's correct. Sushi tends to be a bit of a hater.
Yeah, the Bears. I remember that skit. That was
Bears.
Norm. Yeah, I remember that one. Speaking Moisty says Tecmo Bowl is the best football game ever. It is, but you have to play it on original hardware, because in the Switch version they took out all the names of the players.
Oh yes.
Oh, for licensing issues?
Yeah, Montana, Rice, all gone.
Mhm.
Now it's just numbers. Oh well. Anyway, Road Blasters by Tenjin. We all know Tenjin is a division of
Mhm.
Atari. For the Sega Genesis 8. Are you guys fans of Road Blasters? You guys like this kind of, it's like kind of Outrun, Spy Hunter kind of mix?
I used to play it in the arcade every so often, but I didn't have it at home.
I don't think I played this one.
Not a fan of these games. I know there's a lot of people. Cutthroat likes it. I know there's a lot of people who like this kind of game, and these kind of games never appealed to me. But however, Steve gives it an 8. Road Blasters has finally appeared in several formats, and although I don't like to make direct comparisons, this is clearly the best executed and most fun of all the versions. I don't like to compare, but here's the comparison. This game makes excellent use of the Genesis to produce dazzling graphics. What a great game. 8.
Everybody seems to like this one. Maybe I should check this out one day. You can't
to the list.
Yeah, to the list. I still really got a pretty long list. You can't go wrong with an arcade hit that looks and plays as good as this one does. The overall theme of the coin-op has been retained, while adding some nice visual touches that make the game stand out even more. Great challenge and a lot of interaction highlight this fine game.
8. I mean,
Right.
that's exceptional scores. 8.
Yeah.
Hey, wait. Are they not doing... Okay, so last time I was here, remember they're supposed to do those like awards for ones that are like, was it 8 and above or something?
Haven't seen
That
them yet.
listed
man.
anyway. Yeah, so why would they mention that and then not do it?
Maybe they do it starting January.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
there was something that they were talking about in the new year. We're going to start this new way of doing
Okay.
things.
So
Yeah.
next issue it should happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Road Blasters has always been a favorite of mine in the arcade. So after some truly disappointing home versions, I was very happy to see this game arrive. Not only are the graphics as smooth as they are, as smooth as they get on the Genesis, the play mechanics and overall execution were top notch. 8 out of 10. Wow.
It's pretty
I think
good.
that's tied with the Final Fantasy 2.
Moving on to Quackshot. Quackshot was a game known for its incredible graphics, like Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse and Fantasia before it. It was a great game. I remember myself and my buddy both bought this game because it was really well done. Even though I don't like Donald Duck and all that stuff, it was the graphics for this one. So Steve gives it an 8. Quackshot is the best of the Disney games so far, featuring not only the best all-around graphics, but also the best play technique. You mean gameplay? It's your standard side scroller to be It's your standard side scroller to be true. What? But there are so many options available to Donald that the game simply rises above similar efforts. Yeah, this is a tongue twister. This is my first tongue twister. It's your standard side scroller to be true. But there are so many options available to Donald. Okay, whatever. It got a good score.
I've always heard of Quackshot, but because I never played any Genesis stuff, this is like one that I never played. But I do like I love DuckTales and stuff.
Similar. Yeah. It's pretty dang good, man. It's pretty good.
I'd give it an 8. Quackshot is one spectacular game. It has the same great gameplay as the original Mickey, and that was one hard act to follow. Donald animates very well, and the game doesn't get too difficult for the younger players. Great backgrounds.
8. Nice. Oh, Sushi the Hater.
Sushi the Hater gave it a 6. The only real problem I had with Quackshot was the common nature of the game's goals, which seldom change. The presentation is rendered nicely, and the challenge, while a bit on the tame side, never lets up to the point of becoming boring. Keep them coming, Sega. I think that should be more like a 7 review than a 6.
Yeah, I would agree. Indo Nerd says, I don't think we even rented Quackshot back in the 90s. No?
I didn't.
Yeah. It was an owner for us for sure. The year of the Draken.
Just from the art, I probably would have checked it out if it were around.
Disney games are great. It's the characters I have the issue with, Cutthroat. It's not the games. I don't like Disney characters. I think they're lame. Sorry. I just do. Raiden Trad. Well, we got one turbo game. By, of course, NEC. This one's another shooter. Again, getting a little tired of the shooters on the turbo.
There's too many shooters.
Yeah, way too many. This one gets an 8, which is great. Shooters are my speciality, and Raiden is a winner. The turbo version captures all of the frantic intensity of the coin-op with close to perfect graphics and gameplay. The selection of weapons is implemented well, and the general round progression is executed on target. 8. Well, that's good. If you're going to have one game, have it a banger. Good job.
Raiden for the Turbo is one fine vertical scrolling shooter. The action gets intense after a few levels, and after a few levels, and will challenge even the best of great players. Great power-ups and weapons make this an equal to the older blazing lasers. That's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played this one, so I can't even. I'm intrigued now to try it.
All right, time for a little bit of the hater to come out. This is an all-out blastathon where only one side survives. The sheer volume of targets and well-balanced selection of power-ups and end bosses make Raiden a classic candidate. The graphics and sound are both top-notch, and the game only wears thin after extended play. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, we could see here the turbo is really starting to hurt. Unfortunately, it's sad. You don't even like the Immortal Mouse? No, I do not. My mom was a big Mickey Mouse fan. There's something about the characters, they just didn't speak to me, right? Jordan versus Bird on the Game Boy by EA. Oof. Eesh, look at that. Ooh, boy. Ew. It's looking a little rough, guys. 5.
Yeah.
This Game Boy Sports title has possibilities, but never takes them anywhere. The graphics and sound are strictly average, and the overall appeal is further diminished due to a lack of real control or interaction between the Game Boy pad and the on-screen players. Okay, so it has no graphics, the sound is bad, and the gameplay is terrible, and it's still got a 5. Far too generous. Far too generous.
Womp womp. Jordan vs. Bird is not to be considered the best basketball game made for the Game Boy. The action moves somewhat slow for Game Boy standards, and the computer opponent is slow, but still unfair at times. The cart will deliver some b-ball thrills to hardcore fans. Eh.
Wrong.
Okay. Don't bother with this game unless you're really into basketball hardcore. The graphics, sounds, and gameplay are all lacking in one important area or another. And the general appeal of the game is so limited that even with head-to-head play, you feel like you're missing something. 4.
You see, my thing is, in there was no two hotter players during this time than Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. We all know that. That being said, you're still only Jordan and Bird. Like, why wouldn't you want to play like Lakers versus Celtics?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is my time when I was really into the NBA and basketball. I loved it, and even I was just like, just Jordan and Bird. Like, I wanted to play the whole Bulls team, right? So, and then add that to it being on the monochrome Game Boy screen, and I'm just like, there's no way I ever want to go near this game.
Could be one of the first fails for Electronic Arts. First of many.
Maybe, yeah. Where are we at here? Josh says Aladdin on the Sega Genesis was an awesome game. Buddy, let me know, Josh, what you're doing next Sunday. If you want to pop on with Willie and I. Just send me a message. Can get you up there. Jay, choose one. Why? We all have to choose. Choose the Super Nintendo or the Genesis. Oh, man. I can't do that. I won't. That's like picking your favorite kid, man.
Yeah.
That's an easy one for me just because I haven't played Genesis stuff.
So you can't. You're disqualified from the question.
Come on. Now.
You can't choose something you've never had interaction with. Come on. Well, you played Sonic. I'm sure you've played a few Genesis over the years.
I played Samick for like 2 seconds.
And then you're like,
this is not Mario. I'm going home.
Stun Runner for the Atari Lynx by Atari 6. The game is a very good translation of the coin op with many of the update problems that plagued the hard drive and now removed. Okay. The action and overall theme is not that exciting, however, and despite some truly incredible small screen graphics, I lost interest in Stun Runner very fast. 6.
That screenshot
Again,
looks awful.
It looks bad. Like, look at the menu or the dashboard or whatever we're looking at there. It's brutal.
Ugh, so bad. Stun Runner is a good rendition of a futuristic type driving game. The countdown timer adds challenge as it does all of the enemy craft that appear in your way. There. I don't know how to say that right because there's a typo. There certainly are enough levels, but the difficulty doesn't substantially increase as you get deeper into the game. 6.
It's another one of those road blasters. Like Atari and Sega were famous for doing those kind of games. Like, they just never appealed to me. I don't know. It just seemed like you're just on this endless track. It's just boring to me, but would have been cool on the Lynx back in the day.
Okay, before I read into this, just want to address a comment that Matt said. I don't think EA was known for a lot of fails back in this time period. No, because they had Trip Hawkins guiding the ship. He actually knew what he was doing.
Just a different time.
Different time, not as corporate. All right. So Apparently, Sushi kind of liked this, gave it a 7. If you're into the wicked visual style and action of the arcade Stun Runner, then the links won't disappoint. It's as close as you can get, although there are some areas that don't come off quite as well. If flying down a tube and wasting opponent turns you on, look no further.
What?
Yeah. Honestly, I played this in the arcade. Not a great game.
Yeah,
in my
it was
opinion.
one that had a deluxe version, that you could sit in, I remember.
Yeah, that's the one I played. And honestly, even that wasn't that great to me.
Oh, Pit Fighter. There's Road Blasters. All three of these games can lick a suck. Look at the paper.
Fighters would have been so cool.
Listen, is that Paperboy okay?
Yeah.
No.
Look at him.
He looks like one of the filters you can get on phones now that shrinks your face down and your head down.
It's just
He
bad
just looks
art.
like a gremlin.
Yeah, I think it's showing serious anger management issues. But
No,
it
well-
does bear the official Sega Genesis seal of quality.
Yeah, what Will said, Cutthroat. No, like, we all didn't have the opportunity to play everything, right? And to go back now is a very daunting task. There are collections that you can get, but you know how you're tied to something more when you grew up with it and you played it, right? Not a big deal.
Yeah.
We're getting them there. Don't you worry. We'll get them there.
One day I'll play a Genesis game. One day.
We have release dates here. So we got Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy. I think this is a good time to take a 5-minute break. Right after the reviews, we're going to get our coffees refilled, and we'll be back at you guys. So go get a beverage. Okay, I'll throw on the Splatterhouse video, and we can continue in just a few minutes. Sound good?
Okay.
See you in 5.
See you guys in 5.
Is it off? Are we still here? Can I pick my nose now?
Between the NES,
No.
the Sega Genesis, and the TurboGrafx 16. The 16-bit battle between NEC's TurboGrafx 16 and Sega's Genesis was in its second year. With both systems having impressive launch lineups, it was now time for the competitors to enter year 2, where the gloves would really come off. This exciting time in gaming history has always been burned into my brain thanks to the incredible cover and story from Electronic Gaming Monthly issue 8. Each system would have massive releases in 1990. I was entering high school during this time and was lucky enough, thanks to my mom and my new restaurant job, to have both systems. Sega would release such hits as Ghostbusters, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, and the arcade smash hit Strider by Capcom, which was faithfully ported over by Sega. While on the other side of the battlefield, NEC put out Bloody Wolf from Data East, a Zelda clone called Utopia by Hudson Soft, and launched their console's official mascot, Bonk, also by Hudson Soft. It's also important to note at this time that although Nintendo didn't have their own 16-bit system yet, their 8-bit NES had no problem keeping up with the other two. There was another game that I distinctly remember. It was in the pages of Electronic Gaming Monthly number 12 from July 1990. It was incredible looking, colorful, vibrant, dark, gruesome. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. Before Splatterhouse was released on the TurboGrafx 16, it was an arcade game created by Namco and released in 1988. Upon its release, the arcade game would receive praise for its excellent graphics, sound design, and pushing the boundaries with its graphic nature. Namco was clearly inspired by Western horror films, and the love for them shines through with the game's visuals. Splatterhouse the arcade game was directed by Shigeru Yokoyama. Nintendo had really strict publishing rules back then, being that if a game appeared on the NES, it wasn't allowed to appear on any other console for a minimum of 2 years. To get a game published on the NES back then, you had to understand that if there was anything Nintendo deemed inappropriate, they had the right to change it. This would certainly include blood and gore, and Splatterhouse was chock full of that. That being said, the very first Splatterhouse game to hit home consoles was on the Famicom. In 1989, Namco released Splatterhouse Wanpaku Graffiti for the Famicom. The game was very different than the arcade version. It used little cutesy cartoon characters. That being said, there was a pretty good chance that Nintendo didn't want anything to do with the arcade version anyway, and this is as close as they wanted to get to that version of Splatterhouse. This meant that over here in the Western world, the arcade version of Splatterhouse was fair game for the TurboGrafx 16.
Splatterhouse. Only for the TurboGrafx 16 system from NEC.
I purchased the game in 1990 and was in love. It was so different. And being such a horror fan myself, it was really cool being the bad guy in a game. Even though you weren't really the bad guy, you certainly felt like you were. I remember picking up the box for this in an electronics boutique and being completely blown away. The cover art was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. In the bottom left-hand corner, the box read, "The horrifying theme of this game may be inappropriate for young children and cowards." I don't know who that message was for exactly, but it was awesome. In terms of print media, Splatterhouse was absolutely everywhere, donning the cover of Turbo Play, having ads in game magazines. This also included a comic strip that fleshed out the story a little bit further. Splatterhouse for the TurboGrafx 16 is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. The story is nothing new. It's one we've heard a million times, but classic nonetheless. It stars Rick Taylor and his girlfriend Jennifer Willis. The two students find themselves caught in a rainstorm. They see a giant house in the background and quickly run to it. This is known as the West Mansion, or the Splatterhouse. Rumor has it that this was once the home of Dr. West. It is said that in the halls of the Splatterhouse, Dr. West would conduct his grisly experiments. Rick is knocked unconscious, and when he wakes up, he's in the dungeon of the manor and donning the terror mask. Now, all of this is shown in the arcade game, I should note, and none of the cinematics show up in the TurboGrafx version. In the TurboGrafx version, the terror mask is also red instead of white for obvious copyright reasons. Now the quest for Rick to find his beloved Jennifer begins. Gameplay-wise, Rick does your standard punching and kicking that you'd expect from this kind of game, along with this strange slide kick.
Ooh, the slide kick. There we go. Welcome back.
I remember those Splatterhouse cartoon promos. So
Yeah.
good.
I mean,
The
that
comics.
was really cool, right? Because that was share this again. There we go. That was just a way to expand upon the story. There wasn't enough memory, or they didn't put enough memory into the card to put the cinematic, which was in the arcade version, which kind of showed them running up to the house. So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. And a lot of us read a lot of comics back then, so know your audience, folks.
All right, before we get started, you want to see some games?
Yeah, let's and okay, we're gonna just full disclaimer here. This is not anything that's going to appear in Will and I's videos. Okay, this is Will's hunting on his own. Okay, so we'll make you big here, buddy.
I needed time without Jay to hunt for some video games.
See you later. There goes Willie, ladies and gentlemen. All right, he'll be coming back never.
Wow. All right, so I shared some of these in the Discord that I got. Because I was in the US, and the US has like a lot more variety than we see here in Canada. A lot more to choose from. So the first one I'm going to show up here is a Ninja Gaiden. This is complete in box.
Yeah.
I have the manual. I have it's everything in there, even the little thingy in there, the little styrofoam part at the bottom. Very nice. Very, very good condition.
Love that artwork.
Yeah, so good, right? This I had to pick this up. This is a game I never actually played, but I watched my dad play growing up as a kid. But this box and everything in it is pristine.
Ooh, Crystallis.
This is Crystallis, yeah. I just couldn't pass it up because the box is pretty much near mint.
A streamer buddy of mine was playing that just the other day.
I remember really liking watching my dad play this, and I want to go back and play this sometime down the road.
It's a streamer
and then
you actually know, Will.
Oh, is it? Oh, Nemad, yeah. Freaking Nemad's awesome.
He was playing that on Friday.
And another one I had to get. This doesn't have the manual, but I'm going to buy the manual probably through eBay so I can get it all complete. But it's another one that had an amazing box that I couldn't turn up. And that is...
Oh. Woo. Dude.
Talk about iconic art.
Yeah. One of the best box arts ever.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
Especially with that silver trim on the outside. Just perfect.
And then I got two more. These ones I didn't show in the Discord or anything. These are actually surprises. Just for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We got a copy of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Nice. Speak of the devil. There you go.
And then I'm saving the best for last because I think Jay's going to like this one. This is, as soon as I saw this, I went over my budget, but Ashley said it was okay because I had to get it. It was all together. Complete in box. Here we go. We're going up.
All right.
Oh, nice.
This
game is not for anyone under 17.
And
Conker's Bad Fur Day. As soon as I saw it, I had to get it.
Yeah.
Those are some great pickups, buddy. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Price breakdown us. I'd have to do the conversions from US to Canadian.
At about 40%.
Yeah, it's like 40% on top. Yeah. So
yeah, that's that multiplayer, Josh. I agree. It was really underrated. It kind of got its own life again with the Xbox version, but the 64 one was friggin' awesome on the same console.
Yeah, I think a little bit. I was able to get some deals on them, so I'd say the Endo Nerd's probably not wrong. Little bit less than what probably a grand for all of these.
Yeah, they're skyrocketed in value. Every system except, I'm generalizing, the main systems except for maybe 2600 stuff. Like everything else is just over the years gone up in value so much.
Yeah,
the biggest one was
price, considering you're getting the boxes as well.
Yeah, like Conker was the biggest one next to probably Castlevania out of these ones here.
Yeah,
but the Conker's a rare title as is because it was the end of the life of the N64, right? So production, they didn't make as many. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to get it.
Nintendo really didn't push it that much because that wasn't the type of game they really wanted to be associated with.
There we go. Good stuff, dude. Amazing.
Awesome.
Raj says, Willie, do you really have MK2 on your MK2 machine back there?
Yep.
Mortal Kombat 2 is my favorite Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, that's a 1UP arcade. I think Jay has the same one too.
Mine's, you could see it when I'm playing console games. When I switch to this side, you could see all my arcade games. Yeah, same one. Oh boy. Okay. I always say oh boy when we get here because I always forget about the old Quarterman. The man with all the news, the man with all the gossip, in his column Gaming Gossip. This is where stuff goes off, goes off the rails a little bit, but that's okay. I already see a CDI thing. I think I want to do the second one. That's cool. So let's get Willie. You could pick your first paragraph here.
I might as well just start from the beginning.
Let's get into some gaming gossip. Let's go.
Excuse me. Get ready for light speed, all you quarter maniacs. The Q-Man has returned with 2 scoops of the hottest gossip from behind developer lines. Try to keep control of your joysticks, kiddies, because this time I've got some real treats in store for all my faithful gaming gurus. The Q-Meister, as he keeps giving himself different names.
Yeah.
The Q-Meister has just obtained some super secret info on the Hush Hush sequel to Sega's mega hit Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 rumored to be subtitled Escape from Ring Zone. Huh.
Wrong. That's wrong.
I wonder if that was an undertitle at first, and then they just said, nah, let's just make it Sonic 2.
Probably.
I don't like subtitles in games. I'm old school. Like we talk about
I'd
Mario
agree.
World. I wish they would have just called it Super Mario 4, but that's just me.
We'll hit midsummer as a totally blown out CD-ROM extravaganza. Woo, 2 misses from Quarterman. That's very rare for Quarterman. He's usually pretty on point.
Dude, he's got a pretty good track record. We'll let him go on this one. We'll forgive him.
Sonic loses his cool in a variety of worlds filled with rotation. Our renegade anti-hero even scales the second time out thanks to the advanced processors employed by the Mega CD-ROM. In certain parts of the game, Sonic will grow in size as he collects special objects. Can't wait to do Mega Sonic Smash. Huh. I'm trying to think now. I don't remember Sonic ever growing in size.
Well, if he's talking about the CD one, that would be Sonic CD, because there was Sonic 2 and Sonic 2,
No, but
and then Sonic CD, then Sonic 3. I know what you're saying. Like, did he actually grow?
Yeah.
because I know, like,
think-
he's saying
it's
Sonic
zoomed
2's on
in
the
on-
CD and stuff. There are though like those behind the running things,
Yeah.
with, like the virtual 3D kind of look to it. But
Does anybody know if he grows? Jock says he goes super. What does that mean? Like, that's when he turns
yeah, Super
yellow,
Sonic's
right?
a thing.
Yeah, right,
But that
right.
didn't happen until later, right? Or is that like Sonic 2? Does that happen?
No,
I don't-
3, I think. Or maybe it was Sonic and Knuckles.
Because he has to collect all the Chaos Emeralds. I know that. And then he goes like Super Sonic. I know this from the movie.
Oh.
I have to admit my Sonic knowledge is very limited. It was not one of my go-to games.
Listen, those Sonic movies are all right.
I haven't seen the movies. My friends keep telling me I should check them out.
Matt says, did they change the name of the column? Dude, I was going to ask you that question. Still by Quarterman, but they didn't mention the name. I always thought it was Gaming Gossip. And then Quarterman would always sign the bottom. I could be wrong, though.
In other Mega CD news, Sega has rumored to be readying several of their all-time classics for a compilation disc of the 10 best Genesis titles ever made. No detail on price, but you can expect the disc you could expect to see the disc appear around the same time the machine hits next year. Did that ever happen?
No.
'Cause, like-
unless they called it, because there was one that came out on Sega CD. It was just called Sonic CD. So I don't know if that's just a title change or not. Most people say that that's the best of the Genesis era Sonics.
Really?
I don't know. I'm like you. I played them all, but I got bored of them really quickly. I couldn't tell you the difference really between one to the next.
A lot of this stuff is like it's wrong for Sonic 2,
Mhm.
but like there is a Sonic that comes out on CD later, right? Like Sonic
Yeah.
CD. And then
I think what he's saying is that he thinks that the Sonic CD game is going to be number 2, which it
Yeah.
isn't. It's not.
yeah, that's what I mean. He's wrong about this in general, but it does happen eventually. But he also calls Sonic a renegade anti-hero.
Well, because he had the attitude, remember Mario was all Mickey Mouse and family friendly, and Sega's
Yeah,
like, we're going
but-
to make our guy edgy. And
Sonic was never an anti-hero. He's always been a hero. Like an anti-hero would be Shadow.
oh, don't remind me of Shadow. Remember Shadow on GameCube?
Anyways, yeah.
Brutality. Rumors are flying that Sony is getting ready to duke it out with Nintendo over the Big N's decision to skip the Sony shop and fly into the CDI format with competitor Philips. Although the PlayStation has yet to see the light of day, both Sony and Philips recently unveiled their own CDI formats in Japan and the US. The jury's still out on Sony's unit, but Philips Driver, which hit with a handful of game titles, is finding few players because of the high price tag and the terrible games. Sorry, Sony, but the Q-Man thinks you scored a direct hit by going solo. This guy is like clairvoyant. I swear to God, man.
Yeah.
Like, he really is. Like, his predictions are insane. Even just saying something like that, which you can't possibly know, I think it's pretty sweet. Don't worry, guys. Wait, where did I go? The jury's out. Sony. Oh, God, I lost it. They scored direct hit going solo. Don't worry, guys. Martin's going for pizza in Vegas. The video I have too has Ed and Martin in Japan. It's so sweet. I can't wait to show you guys that. Keep the fish out of my pie. That's what she said. In the latest of Quarterman's Jaguar coupes, yours truly has learned that Atari's Super 64-bit system of tomorrow will reportedly be able to perform yet another stunning feat. With the help of the special adapter, like, you need a special adapter on a 64-bit system. You're already in trouble. I'm just saying, from a designer's point, come on. With the help of a special adapter, the Jaguar will let Lynx owners play their handheld softs on the big screen. That never happened. This is going to be great when Atari finally decides to release their latest supercharged console.
Okay.
He will start his own American Pie-isms.
Okay. In hot game news, the Quarterman has managed to get the straight scoop on a number of super secret projects now in the works. Among the super softs you'll be playing in the months to come include Contra 4 for the Super NES, the 16-bit update to the all-out champ of shoot 'em out combats. Yeah. Also, on the Super NES schedule is Batman Return of the Joker from Sunsoft. They're still not happy that some of us managed to beat that. That was brutal. Set to go head-to-head with Konami and Sega for 16-bit Batman titles, the Dark Knight veterans have some special surprises in store for Super NES owners. Now, the big news on the Sega 16-bit front is a great new game that you'll never see called Uncle Al's Big Top Fun.
Okay.
The latest gaming superhero, Uncle Al, uses his superpowers to smash little men with bow ties into oblivion. A great showpiece from Vaporware. Don't hold your breath. More Super NES titles are being delayed.
Uncle Al.
Vaporware. It's
time to wake up. What's going on? The Zelda CDIs are the best. Can't argue with that, man. I mean, that's just facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Hey.
We got in hot gaming news, going to straight scoop. Okay, that was what Jeff just read. Oh, we got a member bomb coming. I don't have my effects.
Oh.
Chad back from the dead with the 10 gifted memberships. Oh my God.
Let's go.
Let's go, buddy. Thank you so much. I hope you're feeling better. Congrats to JLS. Jesse's back. Rock the Casbah. Left Coast Graphics. Sandman Games. Daniel. Shauna. B Riviera. Twin Pine John. Richard. Maddie Ice. I think a lot of people that have never been members before. So
yeah.
Congrats, guys. You'll be getting your notifications. Thanks, Chad. How you doing, buddy? What's going on?
At least he feels well enough to hit the odd button.
Much love, buddy. Thank you so much.
Hey, Chad. Hope you're feeling better.
New hardware and development behind closed doors include the long-awaited 8-bit upgrade for the NES. Instead of a CD storage device, however, the developers have chosen audio tape. What? What is this? Quarterman, I just praised you. What are you doing? The game's coming around and ran from your tape player to a game system. This is an idea that's too wild, too cool, and way too late. Another peripheral upgrade comes with the important markets where a special Game Gear Master System translator cartridge has appeared from the, I'm not saying that word. What am I reading here?
Oh,
What is it? Quarterman, I just told you were the man, and now you're doing all this weird stuff.
we know as like the editorial goes along, Quarterman becomes less unhinged or more
True,
unhinged.
true.
Yeah, I think he's dipping into the NyQuil.
Plug the translator into your Game Gear and plug your Master System carts into the buffer the same way out 8-bit Fury. Yeah, this is definitely 3 a.m. for him.
This is 3 a.m. and he's into a bottle of Jack.
The Quarterman gives a big thumbs up to the idea of a converter and a big thumbs down to Sega for not bringing it out themselves. Oh, some third-party crap.
Yeah.
Back on the home front, the Q Minotaur? What? Has learned of a special add-on that will speed your Super NES along at a zippy 33 megahertz up from the super slow 3.58 megahertz. While this device has not been seen in action, those in the know have told the Quarterman that the artificial slow-mo that fills games like Super R-Type disappears when this powerful peripheral is put into action. More to come. And before Willie reads the last, Chad, thank you for the 23 months. And if I look over here, you're close to getting Randy's mom. I think you and a few others have been here since the beginning. So thank you so much, buddy. Much love to you. All right, Will, you want to close up Quarterman?
All right. Oh, this one's good for a cut through. Other news to use comes from NEC, who have a secret plan up their sleeve to convert you to the Turbo. Get set for jamming variety of movies to games next summer. Among the future hits now in development are Lethal Weapon 3, RoboCop 3, and even possibly an Aliens title. Can't wait till next time. I remain Quarterman.
Yes, you do. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Quarterman ride. You can leave your fare at the door because that is a wild ride indeed.
Yeah.
Jacques with the 14 months with
Right,
the
Josh.
actually, he says, to Jay and the legends, actually, well, much love, brother. To you and Chantel, thank you so much for being among the very first to ever be in my game streams. You know that eternally grateful for that. Vickman, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Pardon. Okay. Look at this great ad. This is Berlin. Oh, the 90s. Let's make a game based on this huge event. This is Berlin Wall for the Game Gear. Okay.
Look at those
Sure.
glasses, though.
Wow.
He's wacky looking, man.
He
He's
is.
wacky. Yeah.
At least he's got the proper footwear for a 90s kid.
Is it the Paperboy grown up? Because look at his face too.
I think it might be.
Look
Oh,
for
it
kind of
is.
simulator. Oh God.
Well, I was gonna say I thought at first this was Sega, but it's not. It's Canico, who I don't recall. Canico USA.
They were a smaller company, I remember.
Yeah, this is Star Control, I believe. Yeah, Starflight. Close. Sony
Yeah, Starflight
unveils
was-
the PlayStation technology at International Electronics Show. Sorry, Dan, what was that?
I was saying Starflight was kind of their attempt to get a Star Trek title without paying the licensing fee. It was kind of a dollar store version.
This very well could be the first prototype drawing of the PlayStation. Sony of Japan unveiled their long-awaited CD-ROM drive at the International Electronics Show in Tokyo. What do you think about that, Will?
This is history in the making, right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is huge because this is this still when they were planning to do part of the drive? No, this is just a CD-ROM drive. Okay.
Well, this is, I mean, they created the PlayStation for Nintendo.
Yeah,
And
but
it
that was during the 64 era, right? So we're still
No,
like a
no.
few years out of range for that.
No,
yeah,
no.
this is about 5 years before, I believe, 4 or 5 years before we started to see the PlayStation 1.
But the PlayStation 1 was ultimately the technology that was going to be on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
That was the CD-ROM. And because Nintendo could get the same technology, not even close, but the same technology from Philips at a fraction of the cost, they dumped Sony.
Yeah.
And I remember the developers of PlayStation went to Sony and said, "We built this thing. What do you guys think?" I mean, karma, right? We all know what
Yeah.
happened. They they dominated and they took Square from Nintendo, which is
Yeah.
huge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I always thought it was supposed to be for the 64.
Super Nintendo CD-ROM. The Super Nintendo, it was originally called the Super Nintendo PlayStation, which that was the CD-ROM. They kept the name and they kept the technology. There you go.
I wonder if that prototype is sitting in either a warehouse or somebody's garage or basement somewhere collecting dust worth several hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Dude, I can't even imagine. Major hardware manufacturers show new CDI compatible machines. NEC surprised the industry with a working prototype of the new data compression CD technology. This, I have no idea what this is. Besides Sony, there were several other companies which had prototype CD-ROM hardware in various stages of development at the International Electronics Show in Tokyo. Philips, the company which developed the CDI format. There's a model, blah, blah, blah. So this is NEC's version, right? Yeah. So you can already see like things are starting to get pretty muddy. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like add-ons and peripherals and what works with what and what exactly these machines do.
Yeah.
This will come into play later near the mid 90s. You had to get companies like Sega and Sony to come out and say, no, this is a game machine. This is what it does. And that's, what happened to CDI and 3DO is ultimately too expensive and just too confusing.
Yeah. Some of the new CDI titles planned include a visual history of F1 racing, a tour guide of Hawaii. Boy, you could have used that well. Golgo 13 and a video mahjong disc.
We are an international outlook. Here we are seeing stuff coming out of Japan. Rockman, of course, is Mega Man. Here in North America and Japan, Mega Man is Rockman.
I think Mega Man sounds better than Rockman.
I agree. Because Rockman, he sounds like he's made of rock, like Thing or something, right?
Yeah.
Does anybody know any Game Boy players out there? Is this just Mega Man 2? I asked this for a lot of Game Boy games because I've played a few, but I haven't played a ton. Like, is this just a port of Mega Man 2 on Game Boy? I see only 4 bosses.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is if I remember right, it is pretty much the same game, but they had to scale it back because of the limitations on the cartridge. So that's why there's only 4 bosses, because they only could fit so much on those Game Boy cards.
Flash Man, Woodman, Metal Man, Airman. Yeah, okay, that would make sense. Yeah. Jacques says I agree. Mega Man is way better of a name. Thinking how incredible the Nintendo 64 would have been with a CD drive keeps me up at night. Well, they did have a disc drive, which came out in Japan. The plan for that, Raj, was games like Ocarina of Time. You could cut bushes or trees down, and in real time, over like 24 hours, they would start to spring up again. There is a 64 DD. It just never came here. What do we got here? There's one for us to look for, Will. You never see that thing, man. Ever.
I've never seen that one. I sent you a picture. So recently I was up near the Ottawa area and I visited a retro store up there, and they had a complete copy of Air Zonk, like with the cardboard outing too, which you don't see very often.
The box, yeah.
Oh my god.
One of the best games on the system. You said it was 7, right? 700.
Yeah, they wanted 700 for it, and I was like,
ooh. Sounds like they know what they've got and how rare that one really is.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Turbo games. Like, you always see the jewel cases, but you never see the actual cardboard box.
The boxes, yeah. I would say 9 times out of 10, people just chucked them out, right?
Yeah.
Just threw out the boxes.
Looking
100%.
back, how many boxes did we throw out as kids?
Don't do that to me.
I didn't throw out any, honestly.
Yeah,
Not
you
one.
probably didn't.
Never did. And
Knowing
I'll
you-
talk about toys too, the Kenner Star Wars stuff. I was very careful and meticulous not to rip the artwork, and I kept those card backs. Now those got tossed out by my parents, but I never threw out any of that stuff, man. Art was always very important to me from the beginning. Okay. Ninja Gaiden, what is this for? This is the TurboGrafx. Oh, we played this one, guys. A couple weeks back on my Turbo stream. This is not a good version of Ninja Gaiden. It is a translation of the NES one, but it's not done by Tecmo. It's bad, man.
Oh yeah, one's done by Hudson.
It just came out on the PC Engine and never came here. It's bad though. Yeah. Not good.
Vice, Project Doom. Does that look kind of like a True Lies dollar store art type thing?
Yeah, pretty much. Like any like everyday man action hero, right? Like
Yeah.
Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah, torn shirt, Glock in the air.
Ugh. Their stare scares me. It's like their eyes are soulless.
Oh yeah.
IGS for the Mega Drive. What? Oh, that's the company. The game's called Donna?
Donna. Okay.
Huh. Matt says it came out before True Lies.
Okay.
True Lies
well,
copied.
still- Okay. Maybe James Cameron was flipping through the magazine and thought, hey, this looks cool.
Yeah, Cutthroat. And yeah, that was the norm. You threw away the boxes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why they're worth so much today, right? It's because most people did throw them out. One reason I love the Genesis games was because the box was the carrying case for it.
Mm.
Right? So that housed the cards. So you didn't throw those out because they're plastic. But 9 times out of 10, I would say most cardboard cases, yeah, you did chuck out. Absolutely. Dragon Saber by Namco. Oh, look, it's Dark Vader,
Oh,
Ugh.
the evilest of all the Jedi.
on Nintendo.
The Force is stronger than your what? The Force is stronger than your parents doesn't want you playing this game. What?
A force stronger than
Oh,
your
sorry.
parents doesn't want you playing this game.
Okay. Moving on. Oh, here's that Woodstock game. Here you go for the Sega CD. Woodstock Funky Rocky Horror Band.
What kind of name is that? What? It's an RPG, they said, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's an RPG.
Yeah. Well, you want to read that one out? Let's read that one out. That's funky.
Text on it?
Yeah.
Sega's heavy-duty RPGs Dark Wizard and Three Eyes won't be ready till next year. What?
Those are two
Heavy-
games, Dark Wizard and 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What players will get from them in December is a cute RPG where an alien rock and roll band crash lands on Earth. They can't leave until they find all 6 of their band instruments. Music is the key in this game, and as the type and length of tune you play determines how strong your magic is. Huh.
That sounds pretty cool, man.
That's actually pretty. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
heard of this.
The last screenshot, Captain, we can fix our ship, but we have to find our band instruments before we're able to take off. That's an interesting looking creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the anime art style. I think it
Yeah.
looks cool. It's just
Very
a weird name,
JRPG.
right? Like Woodstock Funky Rocky Horror Band. Like Woodstock, I mean, are they the festival, I guess? Like what
Yeah. Clearly a Japanese game, and apparently their translator has issues.
we're getting into all these weird stores that you can call and do orders, and we had that column a couple weeks ago where a bunch of parents were complaining about the game store ads because they're not living up to orders and blah blah blah, that kind of thing. So guys, order at your own risk, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Axley, this came out for Super. This was a pretty cool shooter. Let me ask you guys. I'm going to ask the chat, and I'm going to ask the two guys on the panel. Do you think that programming a shooter, side scroller or a top down, do you think that's an easier kind of game to make?
No,
I don't
I
think
feel like
so.
there's a lot of thought process into like the shooter stuff too, because like
Yeah.
especially side-scrolling stuff, like if you take into account like Contra and stuff, you want to make sure the areas are there are areas that are accessible to progress through and not unrelenting, but also make it hard enough that it's not like just
So let's let me kind of take it a step back. I kind of mean space shooter. So let's take run and gun stuff out. So Ghosts and Goblins, Contra, take that out. I
Okay.
mean stuff where you don't have to worry about platforming. So just like shooters like this.
oh
Do you ultimately think like just call them space shooters for a blanket
Yeah.
term? Do you think those are easier to make because there seems to be so many of them?
yeah. I don't want to like take away from the complexity of like development.
Yeah.
But like on paper, yes, like enemies come at you, you shoot them, have cool effects, make grandiose bosses. Ta-da.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess they would be a lot easier, right? And there's never really like a really sound or elaborate story with them, so probably not as much as like other games.
What do you-
I'd have to agree with what JT said. In general, shooters are easier to make, but not easier to make them good.
Yeah.
I mean, is it any different than any trend that was happening? Like if we look at what's a trend? Mid 2000s when you had all the chest high wall shooters like Uncharted and Gears or all the Halo clones. I mean, is it any different? Really? I don't know, but it just seems to me that these just get pumped out so fast. And I don't know, maybe there are space shooter fans where that's your favorite genre, but to me, they all kind of just start to blend together after a while.
I agree with that.
But
Yeah.
just curious what you guys thought.
And now
Yeah,
like
I
they've kind of evolved into like the bullet hell type games now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt says when talking shooters, though, it's on rails. So you're guided. The side-scrolling shooters aren't too hard. Got to worry about the backgrounds being pretty and the enemy disbursement. What is that? Disbursement. Sorry, my bad. Makes it hard. The RNG of things too. Yeah. I don't know. Just for whatever reason, like there's a handful of great ones like UN Squadron, I think is really great, and Blazing Lasers. But for the most part, like I don't know, is Darius Twin good? Like it just the gameplay in itself for me is just too simplistic. Where like Will was mentioning Contra, which are adding platforming to it. Contra's different because Contra, there's just a lot more to it.
Yeah.
But the concept is kind of still the same.
Yeah, it's a running
Yeah.
gun, but you can die from the ground, right? Where this
Yeah.
you can't. You don't have to worry about that traversing the ground.
Yeah. I do agree that a lot more kind of like space and side shooters were made, and they do kind of just blend in together after a while.
Yeah. Especially during this time, there was just a
Yeah.
lot of them, and you're just like,
Yeah.
overrated.
Action 52 is filled with shooters, most likely easier. Yeah, I would agree. I think people were just trying to recreate the success tailcoats like asteroids. Yes, but like I was just mentioning, I would agree, Josh. But that's a trend in gaming in general.
Yeah.
Like look when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. Look at how many games we got very shortly after that were just. First of all, you were the bad guy, and second of all, it was a 3D sandbox game, right?
Mm-hmm. Or right now, how many types of like Dark Souls games do we have?
By the way, does anybody know right now? I'm going to sidetrack real quick. Does anybody know if there's any truth to the rumor that Power World is gone?
It's not gone.
No.
It's not gone.
So-
I know they've been attacked by Nintendo, but I didn't know if they were gone.
Yeah. And it's iffy right now because like the thing that most people thought with Pal World was that Nintendo was going to go after them for the character designs.
Yes.
right? And that's not what Nintendo's going after them for. Nintendo apparently has a patent, I think it's in Japan, for games that involve using a capture system with a ball. But it's only in Japan so far. They've put the patent out for use in other countries, but it hasn't been fully like determined yet.
So it's still pending.
But that opens a really weird area because that is a gameplay mechanic. And while they made that gameplay mechanic, if you start opening up access for when you can just like patent mechanics themselves, you're really going to start seeing other developers start doing that too. And then that's going to like close up a lot of the markets for people to have their own takes on the genre, right? So I'm not sure how I can understand how they can patent something like that.
Can you imagine if in the early 90s, if John Romero had said, or he went after anybody that tried to make a first person shooter?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine that? Like, that's unheard of, right?
Yeah, because that'd be like going into movies and then being like, well, this is like, you know, I don't know, an action movie. We made the first one, so we're patenting this. And unless you pay us, no one else will ever make an action movie again. You'd be like,
yeah. Or like trying to patent any vehicle with wheels.
Yeah.
It gets into a really muddy area, and I don't like it. And I if it was designs and stuff, yes, but like as a base mechanic, like other games have done this for years now. And the only reason Nintendo seems to be going after the Pal World specifically is because of the success they found with it.
Yeah.
But the game has completely died off. So, I mean,
there's still lots of people playing it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's gone. Like if you watch the Steam, it's gone down, right? Had they gone after them in January or February, that would have made sense to me.
Yeah.
I thought after they made it past that, I'm like, okay, well, I guess they're fine then. Right. But to go after them now, Nintendo is very meticulous, right? They're going to take a long time to build a case that they're not going to lose, right? That's just how they work.
It reminds me kind of, I think it was either Marvel or DC. I believe it was Marvel. They tried to actually trademark the term superheroes.
Yeah.
They did?
So
Really?
they did. Yeah.
Yeah, currently on Steam, there is 26,000 people playing Power World still.
Right.
That's a fair bit still.
Yeah.
Is it down? Yeah. But like that's how the ebb and flow of gaming goes. Right? You get the peak when the game comes out, and then they always die off.
We were also riding off the high of 2023, which we talk about a lot on this channel, where that last year was, we saw, I mean, it was equivalent to 1991 for music. That's how good 2023 was for games. There was just every franchise that meant something had a friggin' game come out, and it was just so great. And so January comes around, Pal World, we're like, okay, here we go, 2024. Remember, Will, we were saying, like, I can't keep up, man. Like, there's a stack of games I still have to play from last year still.
Oh, yeah.
But I still haven't touched a lot of games from last year.
Yeah, I'm still working on a few.
Josh, real quick, Josh just says the Pal World hype has died down. Go ahead, Will.
No. I think there's, hold on. I'm only working on one monitor. I'm not used to this. Yeah, I just think it's a weird thing. And like it obviously isn't having an impact on the developers of Pal World right now, because at the latest Sony event, they just announced that like Pal World will officially finally be coming to PlayStation.
Yes, I saw that.
So like if it was a real issue and a worry for the lawsuit, they wouldn't be releasing the game on other platforms.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a lot about the capturing the animals genre, but did they go after Digimon back in the day when Digimon was relevant? Like,
so Digimon is different because you don't actually capture the Digimon with a device.
Okay.
Like a character with you. But there have been other games that are like Pokemon that have been released through the years, and they haven't got any issue or anything with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I know that Nintendo, their legal department is very anxious to go after people. as we've seen in the past. But I don't know.
It's time to wake up, says Nintendo is evil. All hail Galoob and the Game Genie for kicking their butts in court.
Praise be Galoo.
Listen,
No love for B shit.
I don't think they're evil. I think they're very protective of something that they worked very, very hard in building. I think there's a difference.
There's nothing wrong with protecting your IPs.
Yeah.
So but there is enough different between Power World and Pokemon that you can definitely tell, like, while the base of it is monster capturing, there's a lot more added on that Pokemon games have never done.
Yeah, and there's they've gone after the, I don't want to say unlicensed, I don't know the term, the Smash tournaments that were not
The unofficial stuff.
unofficial. Thank you. The unofficial Smash tournaments, they've gone after those because they can't control their environment. They can't control what happens at them, and I kind of understand. They've had that seal of quality since the NES.
Mhm.
I'm not saying they're totally right in every case. If it was for me, I would be making a case for Power World, and I'd be comparing each Pokemon, Lucario and what's his name, Anubis. They're like, dude, it's like the same guy, right? That's what I thought they would go after them and be like, don't you think that Pikachu and Pikachu look exactly the same? That's where I thought they would go after them. But yeah, well, I never thought a patent.
Or like a gameplay mechanic.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things for me is they probably learned to protect their IP after the CDI issues.
That was a huge thing for sure. And I remember it was a really big deal too when they put Super Mario Run on the iPhone. That was huge because Nintendo never puts it out on anything. But they're very careful. I think there is a difference. Josh says, isn't Pokemon a copy of Monster Hunter?
No, Monster Hunter is a completely different type of game. Like Pokemon it's a turn-based RPG capturing monsters to use them for it. Monster Hunter, you literally are a hunter who goes out to kill monsters and take their parts to build more equipment and weapons and progress through the areas. Yeah, it's an entirely different game.
Jacques says the Dragon Ball Z Pokemon hack for Game Boy is pretty good. Now, see, that's what they'll go after you for. If you're a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer and you play a hack of a game, and I'm not talking about randomizers, I'm talking about hacks. Like there's this Ocarina of Time project that's been surfacing around. I don't know if it's playable or not, where someone recreated Ocarina with the Unreal Engine. They'll go after you. There's hacks that have been done in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdoms, and people make videos. They'll go after you. They'll take you down for that. I don't know if that's wrong or right, but they don't like it when you mess with their stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That's just the way they are.
Yeah. And it's time to wake up. There was a lot of crap NES games that had their seal of quality. Well, what the seal of quality actually meant was it was licensed. They had licensed with Nintendo to put it on the NES.
Yeah. It's kind of like to subvert those like Tengen cards.
Yeah.
Those bootleg other games.
Yeah, and I had a few of the Tengen ones looking back.
They also ensured the seal of quality by making each company only allowed to produce 5 games for the NES in a given year.
Yeah,
which is why we had Konami open up another branch and call it Ultra, same company, right? Because they wanted to ensure that you weren't going to get the same Space Invader clone 5 million times on the NES and ultimately tank the industry again in North America, not in Japan, here.
Yeah, but I understand why they did that completely.
Okay, the next wave of games coming out.
Right.
Den, why don't you read The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past here? I know it's one of your games you
Fitting,
love.
because this was actually the very first Super Nintendo game I played at my buddy Matthew's place, and he was so into it, and we started a save file just for me, and I was hooked. Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Nintendo/Super NES. I don't think the original Nintendo could have handled this.
No.
The third in the Zelda series will make its debut on their Super NES this fall. This time the plot changes, as you are not looking for the Triforce of Power, but rather you will travel back in time to the land of Hyrule before it was destroyed by the evil wizard Ganon. You will be aided by new allies that you must find and locate. Isn't that a little redundant?
A little bit.
As you proceed on your quest. Battle the minions of evil and use new spells, magic, and powerful weapons to help protect you in your travels. Expect to see a lot of spectacular Mode 7 effects as you proceed through an adventure 4 times the size of the last game.
Yeah.
And let's face it, the music in it, like most Zelda games, just epic, and they nailed it.
Oh, the score is fantastic. Can't we all share and get along? I wish it were that easy, man. Just imagine, again, I'm not Nintendo fanboying here, but imagine you're responsible in the Western world for bringing back video games from the brink of death.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a creator who you hired just to do the cabinet art on a game. He turns out to be a genius, and he's your lead programmer, and he comes with 2 main franchises that explode the industry. Right? You see what's happened with the selling of Atari and what's happened with the industry. They're just going to make sure here, not in Japan, here, that doesn't happen again. I understand where they're coming from. They just don't want people monkeying around, which is why they went after Galoob for the Game Genie. They don't want people going in, messing with the code, playing the game the way it wasn't intended. Because the way they saw it, Jacques, was someone would look at Miyamoto's Super Mario Brothers manipulated by the Game Genie and maybe say have purple fireballs or just something silly like that, and maybe get turned off by it and maybe not buy Nintendo. So you're going after their livelihood and their dollars. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think at the very end of it, like you said, though, it comes down to protecting their investment because they invested a lot of time and a lot of money into their name.
They have something that most companies don't, which are guaranteed selling intellectual properties that they've had since the 80s, which is Zelda, Mario, getting into the 90s, and Pokemon. Those 3 for sure can do no wrong. Doesn't matter what piece of hardware they're on, they're going to sell. How many companies can say that they have an IP that can do that?
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So,
yeah.
Neo Geo, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. There's your
Neo
bad boy,
Geo.
Cutthroat.
Yeah. Very expensive console, if I remember right.
Super expensive.
I remember playing some of the arcade titles on the
Super, and we got Super Off-Road. That Super Off-Road was awesome, man. That was a great game.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
I love that game.
Trade West.
Hot Super Sega savings. Okay. There were 5 companies that made GameStop. Does anybody know, was Software Etc. one of them? Because that I don't think is a Canadian company. I know there was Electronics Boutique, Funko Land, Babbage's. That's 3. There were 2 more companies that made GameStop. Is this one of them? Does anybody know? If you know, just throw it out there. I'm just curious.
No, 3 you mentioned are the ones I knew of. I didn't know there was 2.
Yeah, I don't know I never know the last 2. I know it's just a Google away, but I always forget to do that.
Yeah.
Acclaim and LG. Masters of the game. Whoa. Look out. Look out.
And once again, proving that not every athlete should have their own baseball titles.
Clemens was a wicked pitcher. Come on.
He was. I will give him that. But, it seemed like if you were in the major leagues, didn't matter if you were a bench warmer or not. These companies were like, hey, let's stick your face on a sports game.
Who's this guy with half a skin? Like that guy looks like he's in a lot of pain.
Yeah. I remember
we got a little Acclaim / LJN insert stuck in here.
Oh.
Willie, look at these the Quirk, the chilled tomato shirt.
That's cool.
Oh my God.
Not
Acclaim shirt.
I never want to watch that cartoon again.
Oh, it's bad, and it takes up way too much.
Yeah.
It takes up way too much. Hang on. Okay, I want to look that up in a second. All right. Does anyone want to talk about any of these games? Just shout it out. Packer says Neo Geo was $650 back then, about $1,500 now. Wow. $650. Yeah, that sounds right, dude. And the games were $199 min for like the lowest meg ones too.
Yeah, it was just priced out. Like the Neo Geo is so cool, but like those cards are too expensive. For the modern like average consumer, not great.
All right. Someone want to read a little bit of the Smash TV here? I'm gonna look something up real quick.
Right. Will, would you like to?
Sure.
I can.
Sure. Big money, big prizes. It's the blood and guts game show of the future, Smash TV. There we go. That's my announcer voice.
Yes.
The NES version of the coin-up of the year, Smash TV displays more enemies in action on the screen at one time with no flicker than any other NES game on the market. You're the contestant in this survival of the fittest competition against an awesome array of mutant monsters. With weapon in hand, you must conquer a succession of arenas filled with more enemies than you can count on your way to the final confrontation with the big bosses. And we do mean big. Along the way, you collect power-ups, enhancements that will increase the destructive ability of your weapons, as well as special prizes like new cars, toasters, gold bars, and cold, hard cash. So enter the world of Smash TV. We guarantee you'll love it if you get out alive. Smash TV is great. I freaking love Smash TV.
So good. The arcade game is fabulous. I just want to say the end poll. Well, I don't know if you saw it. I put choose your MMO: City of Heroes, Final Fantasy 11, The Matrix Online, or Phantasy Star Online.
Yep.
City of Heroes 42%. And the new poll, as requested by Raj, your favorite Mortal Kombat: the original, 2, 3, or Ultimate MK3.
We talked about this. You and I played a lot of City of Heroes.
Yeah.
And then we also played, what was the DC Unlimited? No. What was the
DC Universe Online?
Yeah, DC Universe Online. We played a lot of that.
And I thought of that poll, guys, because I was actually looking at my boxed PC collection before the stream. And those are 4 that I'm so happy I have those boxes for those games. Obviously, the games don't work anymore, but just to have that piece of history.
Well, yeah, they have brought them back on a emulation project.
We played all those, and I know I was bringing this up, Will, and Dan, I don't know if you know the name of this one. What was the NC Soft made a bunch of these MMOs? What was the car one? The car combat MMO.
Oh, crap.
I can never remember.
There was a TV series it had too, which I actually really like the TV series.
Does anybody know the NC Soft car combat MMO?
Well, what people are looking it up. Jay, I have to tell you something.
What?
Since we're on the matter of MMOs.
Oh no.
Auto Assault.
Auto Assault, that's it.
That's one of them. Yeah, there was another one that had a car too with it. And it was like with aliens and stuff. Can't remember. Thought it started with a D was the name. Anyways, Jay, I have to break a promise.
There you go, buddy. You got to do you.
Somebody gifted me a copy of The War Within. So I didn't actually have to pay for it. But because it's a gift, I actually have to play it.
At our age, my friend, time is much more valuable than a gifted game. I'm just saying. But I will stick to my promise, Chad. I'm not going back to that horrible game, so don't you worry. One of us is pure. Right here.
Not Carmageddon. I have to look it up.
No, it was I don't know, just Google it.
I am. Bing. Who the frick uses Bing? Get out of here.
The hell is Bing? No, not Carmageddon. Auto Assault sounds right, but
yeah, I just looked it up.
We're still going on with Acclaim here and LJN. Oh, look at this stuff. Nobody?
I will point out that I actually have a bit of a soft spot for the Wolverine game.
The Wolverine game, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember renting it for my birthday, and it was bloody hard.
So the one I was thinking of was called Defiance.
Okay. Yeah. And apparently you can win a collector's edition X-Men novel autographed by Tom DeFalco.
Yeah, so Auto Assault, Cross Out, Upshift, Darkwind, 5 more. No, I think it was Auto Assault. I think that was it.
Yeah, that was the NC Soft.
I'll take that Narc shirt and that Quirk shirt any old day of the week, man. That's some good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Rocketeer. Who remembers the movie The Rocketeer?
I do.
I've been known to watch it from time to time.
I liked that movie as a kid.
It was pretty cool. I thought he was a really awesome looking. I don't know. Is he a superhero? He's more like James Bond, right?
He's like, yeah, like he's a military like vet, right?
Actually, he's a racing pilot that does air races.
I haven't watched
and
that
kind of stumbles into a spy ring of Nazi spies while the FBI looks for him for the prototype.
I always thought the helmet was cool.
Timothy Dalton is in Rocketeer. No way. I've never seen the Rocketeer.
He plays kind of the big Hollywood star that's trying to woo over the hero's girl.
Yeah.
Pretty sure this never came out either. Filmation presents Happily Ever After. Yeah, I don't remember.
Disney Line 1.
Well, Filmation too. I don't remember Filmation.
Talking about like patent infringement.
Yeah.
Just it's a variation of.
Oh, this isn't actually Snow White. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I just looked at her and I thought that's Snow White automatically. I guess not.
It is Snow White. Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
Filmation presents an all-new Snow White adventure. Yeah, it's about Snow White.
All new enchantment and a new twist. Uh-huh.
Who remembers Bucky O'Hare by Larry Hama?
Yeah, Bucky O'Hare.
I still have some of the Bucky O'Hare toys.
Yeah, those were cool. Have I seen Dick Tracy? Yeah, I liked that. I liked the Genesis game too a lot.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Shake.
Indo Nerd, you're saying MK2. No one says MK3. I guess Ultimate MK3 is better, right?
Hands down, Ultimate MK3 is the better version.
Yeah, that's the one I would say. I would even take that a step further and say MK Trilogy on PlayStation, because you could be the bosses and then you could be like Noob Saibot and all the wacky stuff. Pretty much everybody that's ever been in it. Look at that. Here you go, Jacques. Here's an ad for you.
Oh, wow. Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Streets of Rage. Defenders of Dynatron City.
Don't remember that one.
Hook.
I'm not sure I want to remember that one.
RoboCop.
I love the Hook movie.
Yeah. I might have to watch that just in honor of Maggie Smith passing away.
Raj's J. Filmation was the production company behind the OG He-Man and She-Ra. Yes, sir.
Yes.
And Black Star before it.
And let's not forget Brave Star.
Brave Star, the first and the last. Art Alive. Oh, Growl. Growl is the Temple of Doom ripoff game. It's actually a really good game, but it's heavily inspired by Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Low Cod.
Hurts my eyes.
Did we see Buck Rogers last time? I thought we did.
Oh,
here you go. Here's Blue Marlin and the Black Bass, Will.
Yeah.
By Hot Bee, baby.
I played a lot of
fishing game that's still the best
Buck Rogers
out there ever to exist. But we can't talk about it yet.
Sonic the Hedgehog on the Game Gear. Crystal Mines 2. Chuck Rock. You want to talk about like awful mascots? You're looking at one right here. Who wants to play this? Oh,
By
what is
Virgin
what is-
Games.
Yeah, it looks. It doesn't look bad like graphically. I don't know what this game is. I never played it, but graphically it looks right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
if
like
you're
that.
going, Virgin is a division of Sony. This
Yeah.
was basically a Sony game. But I mean, if you're looking at like if you're gonna go caveman, like Joe and Mac, those guys.
Joe
look
and Mac
cool.
is fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those guys are
Like-
cool. This guy just looks like a dumbass.
I
There's
like
also
this.
another
Don't-
series that nobody talks about.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and Bonk. Bonk is amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't laugh. He's probably related to you. Hey, I have relatives that do look like that. 3-Day Bender, they come out wearing nothing but leaves.
Oh, there's what that pirate game looks like. Wicked Konami artwork again on that box. It's great.
Mhm. Yeah. The screenshot they had certainly did not do it any justice. Like that one screenshot they had, just
Here we go. I want some of these. Will, you missed this last week or 2 weeks
Oh.
ago. Look at
New
these
game
things.
gloves.
yeah.
Look at the turbo ones. Oh my god. So good. So the fingers are cut out, but the thumb is intact. And we were talking about how long this guy's thumbs are.
Yeah.
But
And of
these
course
are
they-
cool.
And they come in neon colors.
Gross. Can you imagine how sweaty those things are?
There was some new pairs on eBay. The chat was looking it up.
For how much though?
Pretty cheap, man. Pretty cheap.
I'd get ones that say
Correct.
TurboGrafx 16.
Oh, yeah.
Star
I wanna-
Trek for the Ultra, from Ultra / Game Boy.
What page are you on?
I was looking right below the gloves.
Oh,
Ooh,
Vapor
Lunar.
Trail, boring stuff. Okay, we always kind of skip through the tips and the tricks. If you guys want to watch it later, check it out. But
You want to go back?
to-
There's the section of Die Hard. I just want to in the link section. There's a really disturbing cartoon lady with a controller on her chest.
Oh yeah, lots of
Okay.
games, huh? Try to control yourself.
What is that?
It's a really disturbing picture of a lady with a controller on her chest. Yeah, see, Matt says those gloves are only $20 US. Brand
It's
new.
not bad.
He wore it under the power glove for better grip. Can you imagine putting the power glove on, putting those gloves on and then the power glove? You wouldn't even be able to bend your
finger.
hands at all.
Yeah.
Gross.
Skipping through these.
Yeah.
Oh, Road Rash. So good. Behind the screens at Sega of Japan.
Oh, is the Sega CD more stuff?
Yeah. Making of Mega CD games, Part 2.
I mean, EGM was on top of these stories. And what I really like about them is that they just continued month after month. So it's like every
Mhm.
little update, because it feels like we've seen, since we started reading the magazine from issue 1, they were talking about Super Nintendo. And it went really 2 years before it finally was released. Same with the Sega CD. I feel like they're talking about it a lot, but I like that. I like how they keep us updated.
Builds that
Yeah.
anticipation.
It's cool, man. It's good. It's good for, Sega and Nintendo and all
And
that.
it kept us interested and kind of allowed us to plan ahead.
There's your Mike Ditka there, Will. Your game of the year. Mike Ditka Power Football. What is this? Oh, more Sega CD stuff. We're not going to get into all that. I'm sure there'll be more than enough coverage soon enough.
Wise.
Man,
Here we go.
Oh,
Well, we're
wow.
looking for Bishu, right? We're still looking for Bishu.
Yeah, but the next page after that.
Oh, baby.
Ooh.
Here we go. Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior. You
I will say I don't like the coloring here. It's very red and orange, and it hurts my eyes.
Yeah.
right? But they talked about this is the infancy of taking screenshots of arcade screens, right?
Yeah.
You
I
must
still-
defeat Shenlong to stand a chance.
And I like how they continue that. And who is the mysterious Shenlong?
JT with the $10 super chat.
yeah.
Buddy, thank you so
Let's
much.
go.
Good show today, guys. I know you like it, and JT did a wonderful job. And we had a little competition the other week. You guys should check it out if you haven't seen it. The U.S. school system versus the Canadian school system. I personally think JD kicked my butt, but it was a good time. Thank you for the super chat, bud. Much love.
Well, I told my girl that if she wanted to watch the Canadian school system failure at work, watch today's stream. For me, at least.
Now let me ask the chat, and we'll ask the panel as well. Out of all the Street Fighter characters here, and we're not going to include the bosses since they're not playable, who is the greatest Street Fighter character in Street Fighter 2? The World Warrior? There's only one right answer.
I know your answer.
Right there. Boom. I spell it right? Whatever.
Yeah. I am a fan of Guile. Guile and Blanca were my two fighters.
Chun-Li, Dalsum, Chun-Li. Will, I feel like
You?
Will, Ryu, or Ken.
Yeah, I'm more of a Ken. Well, later on, I became more of a Ken player than a Ryu.
Yeah, then it was like if you wanted to do the Dragon Punch versus the Hadouken, right?
Yeah.
Blanca. Nice. I mean, if we're going, when we go into Champion Edition, that's a different story. Still Guile, but then Vega would be a close second.
Jay's all-time favorite will always be Charlie.
Oh, Charlie's the best. He's the best, man. Hipster pick. Den, who would you say? Who's your favorite?
Well,
Besides the bosses.
I had two that I played routinely. One was Blanca. The other one was Guile. Being from a military family, I just kind of gravitate towards more military-style characters.
It cannot be understated how huge this game was when it came out. Changed the face of the arcades, changed the face of fighting games, which is really remarkable considering how terrible the first game is. Like, it really is bad.
Yeah, on the Turbo.
Anyone who's played Street Fighter knows. Like, whew.
Fighting Street.
Yeah, and it's like, remember to do the fireball? I think it was a half circle. And if you did it and you connected with the other guy, it took like half his life off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the arcade learning the moves.
Who is the mysterious Shenlong? Well, it's Japanese for the mighty Dragon Punch. Just walk to a local arcade and you'll see why this formidable move, as well as hundreds of others, are such the rage throughout the world. Street Fighter II The World Warrior is a one-on-one fighting action at its best, with superb graphics, fluid animation, and a rocking soundtrack composed the hottest coin up to date. Each World Warrior has over 36 attacks, including numerous special techniques. If you want to taste the excitement, no other game will stack up to the pure power of the game controls. And Mortal Kombat still isn't out yet. So that's going to be really interesting soon in the arcades.
Yeah, because that's when the real kind of fighter war began.
Okay. I know we've done Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat before on the poll, so congrats to MK2. I got to throw it out there again for people who have not taken part of this. But I got to know, like, for real, I'm going to put the poll up, but I got to know. And Will and Den, please let me know. Street Fighter 2 versus Mortal Kombat. I put those two together because of the release dates. Is there anybody that preferred Mortal Kombat to Street Fighter 2?
There's definitely people that do.
Yeah. I played MK2 a few times, but my go-to was always Street Fighter 2.
Now, in the poll, it's just the two games. It's not the franchise as a whole. So it's World Warrior versus Mortal Kombat. I want to know if there's anybody that actually prefers Mortal Kombat for real.
Like, Mortal Kombat 1 is good, but I feel like Mortal Kombat really picked up in Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, the combos, right? When they started entering the combos.
So if you're doing like Mortal Kombat 1 versus Street Fighter 2, like, I don't think there's a competition for me personally, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Moving on. Oh, this is great, and it shows all the games, the bonus stages, which I still think are a waste of time, but that's fine. Don't buy another game. Don't you tell me what to do.
Until you call video game excitement.
No promises. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy? Welcome on in. Oh my God, look at this. Look, guys, why did game developers still think we cared about points back then? Did
It was
anybody
all about beating our friends and strangers.
Did anybody play Street Fighter and look at the points? I didn't even know that. I don't even think I knew there was points.
Me either.
yeah, but it's like at the end of the game, at the end of the rounds, they always had the points totals, right? But that was just a trope from like video games in general, like having high scores. It was just like a mandatory thing that people think that you had to have.
Hey, there's Bonk.
There is Bonk. We now offer Nintendo World Class Service. I actually have one of those pamphlets from back in the day still.
Huh.
I have one tucked away.
Pretty
somewhere.
flippin' sweet. Dalsum Zangief. I remember if you were really, really good, you could beat people with Zangief. And I knew that like when you stepped up and you fought somebody and they chose Zangief, that you were in trouble. Like you were in trouble.
Either that or they had no idea what they were doing.
Oh, Willie, look at that Ancient Ship of Doom. Oh,
So good.
oh, it's so good, that art. Absolutely love it.
It's on the list.
Tecmo Bowl, a lot of people still claim.
Chris says, I had and still do have this EGM. That's wicked, dude.
That's
This is
awesome.
one of the greatest covers. Bonus stage is hilarious as a Transformers meme. Optimus horrified by the Street Fighters demolishing Bumblebee.
Bumblebee. Okay, that's good. I like that one.
The spiritual successor to Smash TV, Total Carnage. Anybody play this one?
I didn't play this one. No.
No.
Trying to remember. I don't think it was a game show thing. I think this leaned more into the Rambo Commando
Yeah.
kind of thing. Anybody in the chat play Total Carnage? It's on any of those Midway treasures from back in the day. But Cutthroat, you played it?
I'm just looking at that bottom middle screen and thinking, what happened to M. Bison?
yeah,
Yeah,
very
he got-
similar.
You got the bobblehead treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never played this one, but I did play like Super Smash TV on the Super Nintendo.
Boy, everybody had a game counseling hotline, didn't they?
They did.
Oh,
I
wow.
love these awful peripherals for game system, like the Bodyguard. This is like, I'm taking a picture of it. Every time we do these, it's one of my favorite things is to discover these awful things.
Do you
And see
remember
if
when
you
we
can
worked
find them in the wild?
at EB in the DS, I think it was, or the DS Lite, one of those two? They had those Nerf protectors.
Oh, yes.
And
Awful.
it
So
comes
awful.
in 3 colors and is by Melikani.
So, without giving anything away too much about the adventures of Jay and Will, we have gone to about 5 stores now and no Bishu, okay?
Mhm.
And we are shocked at the amazing stores that we go into, and the owners and the people that work there are so knowledgeable. But then when we bust out something like, do you guys have any Bishu? Most people don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
So can you imagine, Will, we're trying to find, like, do you have the Bodyguard peripheral, the protector for the original Game Boy? I mean, that's like hardcore stuff.
They'd be like, "Sir, please leave."
Please leave. You don't need. Do you want to make the Game Boy thicker and harder? Whoa. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden 3. Yeah, there's a code to give you 99. But yeah, the controls are also floaty too. It's by far the least greatest of the 3.
That box
Least
art.
greatest.
Hey, we mentioned this game earlier. Slaughtersport.
Oh. Bard's Tale. What?
Mhm.
NES version?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, not great.
What's up, K-Mac? Daredevil for the win. Yeah, buddy. The best, Jerry. The best. Super. Ooh, yeah. This is rough compared to the Genesis one.
Yeah, that doesn't look great.
Madden, yeah, not looking great, guys.
Tecmo Super Bowl, and that's a different story. Look at those cheerleaders. Look at those intense,
Woo!
realistic graphics.
Yeah, the graphics
best
are looking
graphics.
good.
Oh, this is the pigskin preview that they told us we were going to get.
Yeah, because we were
Um,
getting close to Super Bowl.
Right, January, yeah. So you guys have a preference on favorite football games? Do you guys care?
NFL Blitz.
Oh, Blitz is good. Blitz is
Yeah.
great.
I don't
know,
like
you should-
realistic
you should-
sports. I like the over the top ones.
Yeah,
NFL Street was really good as well.
NFL Street was good. Yeah, I know you were looking at possibly getting that NFL Blitz arcade machine, though your wife would have killed you,
Probably.
but it might have been worth it.
Favorite football game? I would have to say Joe Montana 1
Yeah,
on Genesis, yeah. This one, it was cool that the sports talk was a really cool feature, but they did the side view, which I didn't like. I liked the old Madden view. So I think there was Joe Montana 95. So I think there's 3 Joes. Only the first one was the up and down view. Real speech. Montana goes to the 43rd yard line. It's just like that. It's perfect.
yeah.
Madden
Music
Music to my
intros.
ears.
Even in John Madden back then, new intro screens. How much can we charge for a new game without actually doing too much to it?
That's a good point, actually. The crowd cheers when you're on the move and boos when you give up the ball. Whoa. That's pretty cool back in the day, though.
Yeah.
All right, here's Ditka. No one cares about Ditka. Sorry, Ditka. I like your cardboard box. That's about it.
Yeah.
Will, here's a little trivia for you.
Uh-oh.
Do you remember the year that they stopped putting John on the cover?
No.
Neither do I. Just thought you might know. I think it was like Madden. Oh, does anybody know Madden 01? I want to say when
Yeah.
John stopped appearing on the cover.
Yeah, something like that. That's when they started with the athletes.
Yeah.
Um,
And the
and-
beginning of the Madden curse.
yes.
Oh, the Madden curse! I forgot about that.
Yeah. Where if you were on the cover of Madden football, there was a good chance something was going to happen that you really didn't want to.
Yep. Something bad was going to happen to you.
John,
Man.
when I'm not making fun of that, Josh, what I'm saying is like John reminds me of Steve Martin,
Mm.
where he's never been really young looking. He's always been kind of, I mean, it's the white hair, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? John's always looked like an older gentleman to me, even back in the 80s.
Yeah. And wow, middle screen, they actually have an ambulance on the field.
That's pretty cool. Oh, Mo says that's when it started. Oh, okay. I know what the curse is, but so when John stopped appearing on the cover and the whatever athlete of the year was on it, that's when it started to happen. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know the square root of? I was just because Will and I worked together, and I remember it was very monumental when we got the new Madden in at EB, and John wasn't on the cover. I was just wondering if he remembered. But that's right.
Yeah.
I asked trivia questions I don't know the answer to.
Yeah, like I was hoping he knows the answer, doesn't know the answer. Like, well, how would I know?
And of course, Joe Montana on the Game Gear.
Okay, hang on. What was the first Madden where John didn't appear on cover? 2000.
Oh,
There
you're
you
close.
go. Madden 2000.
Football Frenzy SNK Neo Geo. It looks
Oh,
more
did we
like
skip that one? Where's that one?
that one's, you were just on it. at the very top, Football Frenzy for the SNK. It looks like an all-out brawl.
Yeah, well, whatever. Skipped it. I can't find
Yeah.
it. Super Castlevania 4. Speaking of Castlevania,
So
Oh, yes.
good.
so good. Well, you know what? I think you're going down the trilogy, right? You're going to get 2 and 3.
Yep. Yeah, and out of the Nintendo ones, Super Castlevania is
Did you
by far my
see?
favorite.
Do you remember that really great one on DS? I don't know if you could see this. Remember that one?
Yeah, yeah, that's in the DS collection. It was that that's
Yeah.
not Portrait of Ruin. That's
Limited Run just sent me that. This is available on PS5 for $34.
that's not bad.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, because
man.
they just had that Castlevania collection that came out, isn't it? It has that?
Yeah,
It's
I
only
got that
digital.
on Switch. Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Those
It's
games are
got
great.
1 through 4. Then it's got the 2 Game Boy games and the Genesis, but it doesn't have the Turbo or the PC Engine one. That's okay. Neo Geo rules all of their games. Whose games? What are you talking? We got Mario Racing, Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Mario Soccer, but no Mario Football.
Maybe too
That's kind of
violent.
crazy, right?
That's a good point.
And of course,
yeah.
we also had hockey. Let's not forget that, we had Nintendo hockey, ice hockey.
I feel like we can't get like too violent because it's like Smash Brothers exists.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Christoph, you like US football, do you? European football, that's soccer, right?
Yeah.
I don't like either, so there you go. This was
I've played
great. This
soccer, so.
had new whip control in it. You could hold the
flutter it down
the whip,
like,
and it would be all limp, which you could use to get some snakes and enemies that were lower on the ground. It was just a really cool mechanic. Plus, there was a ton of Mode 7 in this game.
Mhm.
It
looks
awesome.
so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know what. If I had to pick my favorite Castlevania, maybe that would be another poll. Street Fighter wins 69%. Let's put up a Castlevania
Nice.
poll.
The problem is there's so many Castlevanias now at this point.
Well, out of I would say out of the 3. Or sorry, out of
the
the
NES
4.
ones?
Yeah, let's do 1, 2, 3, and then the Super Nintendo one is 4. There you go. Choose your Castlevania. There you go, guys. Your favorite one. I think I would really have to go with 3.
3's good. Dracula's Curse? That's a pretty good one.
Where you turn into the 3 different characters.
All right, who voted for Simon's Quest? Get out of here.
Who's the hipster who voted for Castlevania 2? Oh, JT?
I'm kidding. Simon's Quest is special.
Nobody picked Castlevania 1? Are you guys crazy? Holy. Oh, Matt
voted for 2? Oh my god.
Uh-oh. This is Ultraman for the Super Nintendo. I know it's a Japanese show. I don't know anything about Ultraman.
No, me either.
Not a clue. Oh, Vikman. Yeah, they got Mario Soccer was awesome. Yeah. You remember Mega Man Soccer on Super Nintendo? That was also a great game.
Yeah, that was fun.
Moving on. So this is like a King of the Monsters kind of thing. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh, God.
The Illuminator.
Dun, dun.
A Game Boy Light accessory.
It never actually worked.
Isn't it time your Game Boy came out of the dark? What?
I'll be right back.
Enter to win one of 5 Super Nintendo Entertainment Systems or one of 20 Illuminators. If I get a choice, I'll take the SNES.
Yeah, I mean, having all these different peripherals attached to your Game Boy not only weighed it down, but think about your hands as a kid, right, Den?
Yeah.
And it's like you're holding a Big Mac after a while. An old school 90s Big Mac, not today's Big Mac, a real Big Mac.
The old, the huge ones.
Styrofoam container Big Mac. And you're holding it, and it's like you can barely even fit your hands around this thing. And not to mention all these things that kept clipping on. To my knowledge, it would just cut off the screen, make it smaller and smaller and smaller.
Well, that's why you need the magnifier.
That's right. And then you need the protector in case you drop it like a dum-dum.
Uh-huh.
I wish I had the Illuminator cutthroat. This thing's sick looking. I had a Game Boy Light and magnifying glass. Bedtime gaming was the best.
Yeah. Although I will say this much, I think they were predicting what would happen with our smartphones by having that protective case.
Yeah, fair. But I do remember the Game Boy. Like, that thing is tough as nails. You can drop that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know too many people who had a damaged Game Boy screen. I don't know about you guys in the chat, but most people I know that like they kept it pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Where are we here? The Super NES Buyer's Guide. We can always read these too. These are fun, but this is just strictly to the one system. Oh
man, that Paperboy looks pissed.
Yeah, he's definitely like put water on all the papers. We got a Mindscape insert. Like, talk about like look at the games they make, man. Like Captain Planet, Chess Master. Oh yeah, that's in I forget. Is it in the video game museum?
It is.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in Nintendo Power. They put a picture of that in there. Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Captain Planet takes the world by storm. Uh-huh.
We got letters to the editor for Mindscape insert. I think we're gonna skip these. I think it's safe to say we could skip these. It's a miracle. One of the rarest Nintendo games is the Miracle Piano Keyboard. This is the peripheral. I mean, you could get the cartridge separately. Very difficult to find, but even harder. Imagine trying to find this thing, guys. So this came with that cartridge, and it would teach you how to play piano. It's pretty freaking sweet, man. But if you're collecting NES games, Cutthroat, here you go. Here's a hard one to get. Miracle Piano.
I like that. Do you really want to be a rock and roll star?
I mean, I do. Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. Paperboy 2.
The Vengeance.
The Vengeance. Where he comes back and just comes back and terrorizes the neighborhood.
This time it's personal. And if you're like a really hardcore Paperboy fan, you got to have Paperboy on the go. Here you go. It's Paperboy for Game Boy.
I remember playing that, and I remember hating it passionately.
I've never been a fan of Paperboy.
Nah. Yeah, it's on our Midway cabinet. I never play it.
My dad had Chess Master on the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo. Those were his games.
I love chess. I love the game. Am I good at it? No. I'm about as good at chess as I am at pool, meaning I can do one move, but you know these guys that do like predict 2-3 moves ahead.
I'm one of those guys.
Yeah, I can't do that. Even in pool, right? It's like, okay, if I hit that there, that's going to go in there. Then I'll leave the white ball here. I'm just lucky if I get the ball in. So
yeah. My dad taught me how to play chess when I was about 5 years old. And I didn't beat him until I was about 11.
Nice. WillLo had Chess Master for Nintendo. Cutthroat, I gotta wonder, man, where you come up with some of this stuff, buddy? You just like sitting there and you're just like looking at Will, looking into Will's dreamy eyes, and you're like, I bet
he had to have
Chess Master. He had to have.
Yeah. My dad was one of these parents where you didn't get an easy win. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say I really like Battle Chess.
Battle Chess was awesome.
Yeah, it was super slow, but I just like watching like the units kill each other. And you're like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Star Wars chess on Sega CD is pretty fun for that.
Yeah,
but it's like painfully slow. Animations take too long because it's Sega CD, so everything's a huge loading time. Will, when you went to the washroom, this is like a Mindscape insert, so we're trying to get through it, but it's huge, man.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
Wing Commander, the original. I still remember playing the one on PC with Mark Hamill in it.
Good one. That was a great full motion video cutscenes, and the choices you made changed the game. I mean, that had Mark Hamill, Ginger Lynn, Malcolm McDowell, John
Yeah.
Rhys Davies.
Yeah,
So
they
good.
got serious talent back when they did full motion cutscenes.
Yeah. I finished that. I remember beating that on 3DO. It was a great game.
Hmm.
Captain Planet. Who likes Captain Planet dollies out there? I can
Captain
honestly say I never
Planet.
watched it.
I
It's-
watched it, but the game was a special breed of torture.
That's Silver Surfer, buddy. That's Silver Surfer. That's, I think, if you're gonna put up the all-time worst games to sit there and try and marathon, I would put Silver Surfer in the top 5.
Oh yeah.
One, because it's hard, and two, because the controls are terrible.
Hmm.
Yeah, I forgot his name, Matt. Who's the guy who plays Biff? That guy's in it too, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just gonna forever be known as Biff.
I don't even know what to say. It's Mark something. I feel like it's Mark something. Does anybody know?
Yeah.
No one cares. It's just
It's yeah. It's funny because he actually goes to conventions. He's like, I'm not even going to give my real name. You all know me as Biff Tannen.
I don't know anything else he's been in besides the Back to the Future trilogy.
He's been in a few things here.
Nobody
and there.
knows. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Hey, game Dodgers skate
Doggers.
into Electronics Boutique, the low price paradise. Here we got an EB Games ad, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh.
good
Thomas
old
F. Wilson, thank you, Matt. Oh, look at that.
great ad.
What an awful drawing.
Is the dog thing's name Elbow, like Electronics Boutique? Elbow has a hot tip for his favorite game doggers. For the lowest prices and a super selection of video games and game systems, skate into Electronics Boutique. Yeah, so his name's Elbow.
Well, we talk about bad mascots on this channel. There's one.
Do you remember the GameStop rabbit mascot? Do you remember that? That thing was awful.
Yeah.
It was in like the would have been like the 2009s. Would have been when we were at Westmount around that time, and it had like that 8-bit rabbit mascot. Not good.
Electronic Boutique is top dog for video thrills.
Okay, so it's no secret the Electronics Boutique is top dog for video thrills. Any gamer worth a joystick knows EB has the hottest video excitement. Did they have the 3DO porn games? If they didn't, they cannot claim to have the hottest games. Excitement on the planet, and is pumped up with everything Nintendo, from Super NES to Super Mario Brothers. See the Mongo huge phone number? That's Electronics
my
Boutique
Lord.
hotline and your ticket to an EB store near you. Video adventure is waiting, so hurry in and take your choice now.
Oh my Lord.
Dude, is this the new joke?
That's history.
Yeah, this is the first Electronics Boutique ad we've seen. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It
I want
has to get better from there.
I want to see Babbage's next.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. Here you go, Willie.
Yeah.
The Mystical Ninja.
Legend of the Mystical Ninja. Freaking love this game.
For anybody who doesn't know what this is, do you want to read the description?
Yeah. Can you save Princess Yuki during the peaceful times in the land of Horo Horo? A sudden disaster has struck. The ghost princess Yuki is missing, and a rumor tells that her kidnappers are a mysterious group of masked men working for the sinister Dragon Beast.
Ooh.
Worse yet, the Dragon Beast is prepping to unleash a plague across the land. Use your ninja abilities and take on the personality of Kid Ying, or journey with his friend, Dr. Yang, in a 2-player game. It's up to you to defeat your enemies and collect the better weapons that are strewn about you on your adventure.
These additional risks incentives allow you to gather more powerful implements and combined with detailed graphics and play, make Mystical Ninja a winner. I freaking love this game. Oh my god.
Maybe it was Dragon Beast that released the T virus on us.
Maybe.
No, Indo Nerd. We're talking a step up from that. Like I'm talking like Neurodancer on 3DO. Look that one up if you dare.
Don't do it.
And the one that Will and I saw, Blonde Justice, that's like Night Trap's got nothing on that stuff. Mega Man 4? Mega Man 4 or 6? That's 4. Yeah, that's 4. I like Mega Man, guys. I do. Honestly, after 3, and then the first X I played after that, I kind of lost interest. But platforming's not really my favorite style. I think they all have their place. That's just me, though.
There was a kid in my class that collected all the Mega Man games. I was like, yeah, I like some of them, but I don't go out of my way to buy them.
Yeah,
I wonder how much that collection is now.
Skullman, Dive Man. There was a really cool on the PS2 gen. There was a really cool Mega Man collection that came out, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mario
Which one
Golf.
do I have sealed? I have Mega Man 11 on PS4. I got that one year.
I think I have. Let me check. I think I have both those collections.
Yeah, those collections are great.
Where's Lucas?
Look at these dudes. Oh yeah, where is Lucas? They're these hooligans. Okay, they're stealing the Final Fight arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
And one of them, just to prove a point, is wearing Reebok pumps.
And they all have we talked about this before, where I call them shants.
Yeah.
But they're actually called they're jorts, right?
Jorts.
Jorts? Yeah.
Apparently, I've never opened these.
What you got, buddy? You're on the big screen.
Still sealed.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then
Oh.
also still sealed. Maybe I should play these one day. Ugh.
I'd keep them
Well,
sealed.
not now. They're sealed. You got to send them in.
Yeah, got to get them slabbed.
Matt says, "Dude, I used to bounce. Oh, sorry. Let me start again. Dude, I used to bounce back and forth between EB games and Babbage's at my local mall all the time. EB had the games, Babbage's had the controllers to try, especially the PC flight stick from a Thrustmaster.
Yes.
Imagine parents bringing children to pick out a game and then going all Karen mode at the sales reps. You sell porno games. We're never bringing you back here again, Billy." Yeah, I mean, it was the Wild West, man, when 3DO came out.
Yeah, and you got to remember, this was before the ESRB existed.
No, there was a primitive form. I only know that because we just saw Blonde Justice. It wasn't the one that we know.
Yeah.
It was, remember, there was like K. Remember, it was like K to A, which meant kids to adults, which basically meant everybody. You remember that, like the old rating.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now
There was that primitive one, but that all spawned from Night Trap.
Yeah.
Which is still hilarious that the game is not about what all the politicians were saying. It was
Yeah. Ooh, one of your favorite games, Jay.
We got a Capcom 2-page ad here. Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, UN Squadron, Final Fight. 3 perfect games, flawless victory.
Mm-hmm. Capcom knew what they were doing.
Capcom's still one of my favorite.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when they release something, I generally know it's quality.
Any Simpson fans out there?
Well, back in the day, yeah, I would have.
Like up until like season 13, maybe.
Yeah,
It's
I
when they
haven't
started
watched
bringing in movie stars in every episode. That's when I lost interest. They're bringing remember Mel Gibson and
Yeah,
Michael Jackson. It's just like, we don't need all this fluff, right? Space Shuttle Project. Well, this looks fun.
I had this.
You
I
did?
had Space Shuttle Project. My goal when I was a kid was to be an astronaut.
there's still time.
No, there's not.
Yet.
I sleep wrong. My bed kicks my ass.
But think of the view.
Yeah.
It'd be worth the pain and suffering. Come on now.
Yeah.
Oh, remember Brain Bender on Game Boy from Electro Brain? Nope, sure don't. Futurama is greater than The Simpsons. Is it?
100% agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Who said that?
It's time to wake up.
Yeah.
Futurama
Yeah,
is greater
100%.
than The Simpsons.
Agreed.
Oh, my
Japan
God.
video games ad.
Eliminator Boat Duel. What an ad. What are we looking at? Oh my God. This might be the worst ad in history. I need it.
Is that going to be the hipster pick for this issue, Jay? For you?
No, that was the I took a picture of it, that Game Boy slab thing.
Yes, the protective.
Yeah. Turtles 3.
Yes.
Turtles
I
3, the
remember-
Manhattan Project. Who
Manhattan
wants
Project,
to who
yeah.
wants to read up on this guy?
Go ahead, Dan.
I will. Okay. Turtles Fight with Honor. Konami returns to the 8-bit action adventure market with a vengeance. Packaged as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Packed with a variety of new features, TMNT 3 combines several of the proven features of the first two Turtle games while throwing in new elements as well, ranging from the super spin kick to body slams. TMNT 3 is packed with awesome gameplay. While the Turtles are enjoying a peaceful vacation, celebrating the defeat of the evil Shredder. The awesome foursome are rushed to the scene of a kidnapping. For April, the mutants' trusty cohort in crime fighting has been whisked away by Shredder and his evil minions. It's up to you to rescue her and get rid of the Foot Clan.
Yeah, this is Manhattan Project, right? Yeah, they just haven't named it. This is a great game, man.
It was, yeah.
For NES. I thought it was super great. Did you guys know? Hang on, I'm skipping here. Josh, did you know? What is that?
That would be
I don't
my
know what that
favorite.
is. Oh,
I'll just mute you. There you go. That Futurama is one of the hardest PS2 games to get. Did you know that, Josh? We discovered that recently. I didn't realize it was like $500 for that game. But that's one that Will and I were saying when it came through EB. We both looked at it and we're just like, meh, it's a licensed game. You know, you dismiss it kind of thing. What's up, TJ? How you doing, buddy? Will, you gonna get this one?
what am I doing? I'm drunk. What?
No, I said, are you looking for Turtles 3?
Yes, I do want all the turtles.
Yeah. Are you streaming today?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Planning to, if I can figure out what's up with this monitor. That's what I was trying to figure out.
okay. Well, we'll keep going here. I don't know how much is left.
This is a big
Yeah.
magazine.
The last two, they're starting to really blow up here. Yeah. So we might have to just skip through a bunch of these. We're running on 3 hours and 30 minutes so far. Light Boy is bound to attract attention, like the dirty old Santa Claus who just comes in and opens up your presents. Yeah, Packers Futurama. It's because I believe nobody bought it, right?
That.
Yeah, it wasn't a good game in any sense. And that's always the ones that like end up being rares because nobody bought them, right?
I just see that. Well,
I do like the detect thing, and it says it doesn't even detect it. It was plugged into my capture card, and I hardwired it into like just directly to the PC. It still doesn't detect. So maybe it's the cable. I may try to replacing the cable.
yeah, do HDMI first. Don't be like me and get a monitor and then realize after it was HDMI. Although I will say the monitor was pretty much dead anyway, but
I'm pretty sure I have like several HDMI.
yeah, it's probably just your cord, dude.
Joe Montana is the only QB good enough for our line.
I remember thinking no one was ever going to beat Montana's records. How wrong I was.
Yeah.
Look at the box for the game action replay. Look how awful that is.
Ooh.
Oh, and
Still
this
good.
is what the Game Genie they're making fun of? Yeah. Action replay is better than Game Genie. Who cares? They both suck.
Yeah, I do have a DP cable, like a DisplayPort cable I can use instead. I just had it that way because the capture card only uses HDMI. So, but if I have to
Ah.
switch monitors, I can just switch the two monitors, I guess.
Streets of Rage.
We're trying not to skip over too much, guys, but Will's got a stream. I didn't realize that he was streaming today.
That's okay.
Mhm.
It might take a little bit longer anyway, so just don't rush. Do what you need to do.
By the way, I just want to give a shout out to that Netflix series on Vince McMahon. We're on like the 4th episode, and it's friggin' awesome, man.
I heard it's
So-
kind of pretty eye opening about a lot of things that happen.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. It's great, though. I recommend it highly. You guys should check it out.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's on my list.
Return of the Joker. This is a really great, underrated sequel that I remember went under the radar again because the timing of it. It was one of those later released NES games. I don't think a lot of people played it.
It's good. It's not as good as the first Batman
Right.
But it's
game
still
on the NES,
solid.
but it's a solid game.
Yeah, this one, I mean, the first Sunsoft one on the NES was loosely based off the Tim Burton. The Genesis one was 100% based off Tim Burton. And this was kind of its own story. So I wonder if that had something to do with it, maybe not selling as well. But
It's possible.
see, Atlas always didn't make the Japanese RPGs. They even make golf games back in the day.
Funny thing with this though is like this is a golf game, but they also I'm pretty sure Atlas also made never mind. Was it Atlas? So there was a Game Boy Advance Mario Golf game, which was a RPG.
Right.
One of my favorite games ever, but I can't
Yeah.
remember if it was Atlas or there was another company that made it now that I'm thinking about it. It's been a while. But man, if you guys haven't played that, definitely check it out on the Game Boy Advance. Oh my god. Mario Golf on the Game Boy Advance. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Retro Mags once again for archiving, first of all this history, which is desperately needed. Again, guys, go to Retro Mags, show them some support. This is where we get our PDF files to read this stuff every single week. So if you do want to read along, next week will be issue 30. So feel free. Shout out to Retro Mags again. Awesome site. They do Nintendo Power and Game Pro and all sorts, not just EGM.
Yeah, if there's a gaming magazine in your part of the world, they've got it scanned.
Very awesome.
You've got Australia, you've got the UK, you've got United States, even the Canadian titles. Tons of really cool things to check out. I routinely check out the Game Pros.
Want to thank Den of Geek, our longtime channel member and good pal, for hanging out with us. He's been drinking in the bar all day, as you guys can see. But he still managed to, string sentences together and read pretty well. So good stuff.
Yeah.
I know you do a bit of streaming. Is there anything you want to mention?
Not right at this moment.
Sure.
But I got a few projects that are in the works.
That's fair. Willie, of course, is streaming at 2, and you're back to your regular schedule now?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. You can catch me over on Twitch 3 days a week. Generally Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. Though this week's schedule is a little bit messed up because just prior to leaving, my grandfather had passed. So this weekend I'm heading to Toronto to hang out with family and just be with them since I wasn't able to be there for everything that happened. So no streaming this weekend, but I'm adding in Thursdays on YouTube. We'll be doing some retro gaming. So check out for this Thursday coming up. I got to get a thumbnail going. But,
What's your slot?
try it.
What time slot you got going on YouTube?
I'm going to keep it at the same time slot. So it's 2 p.m. just like I
Sweet.
do for my Twitch stuff. So it keeps it all consistent.
Gonna break out those D-shoe controllers, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I didn't want to tell Jay. But, yeah.
He got a
collecting
B
them all.
shoe. He got all
And
this
if you-
stuff behind my back.
And Jay, if you thought that the people were thinking you were crazy asking for Bishu, wait until you ask for that protective grip for the Game Boy.
I'll look it up later. I took a picture of it because I already forgot what it's called. It's called like the bouncer or something stupid like that.
Something like that.
Will and I took a trip about a month ago to a store called We Got Games, and that will be the next video that will be out this week. I promise.
Yay!
The T virus took me out, and then Will and I have 2 others shot that I have to edit. So we got 3 game hunting videos in the can,
And we got more coming still.
We're probably going to head out soon. I know that Will and I are planning on going to the video game con in November in Toronto. We're going to hit, and I'm sure long before that we're going to hit some stores that we wanted to. So the content is coming, guys. Thank you for being patient, but this is not a fun sickness to have, and it just takes your energy right out. So we're getting on the mend, though. We're on the mend.
I'm glad to hear you're getting on the mend, and hopefully Chad will be getting on the mend soon, and we can see more of him streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys are in the Toronto area, and if you're available around the video game convention that's happening there, maybe you can come visit us.
Absolutely. It would be good to meet you guys, hang out, talk games, hunt for games together. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Okay, Den, I will say goodbye to you. Willie, I will say goodbye to you. And we will see you guys either Wednesday or Thursday. My schedule will be up in the next few days. All right, my friends.
All right.
Have yourself
See you later.
a great Sunday.